Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, Halloween in April, a new After Dark event is coming to DCA, Main Street Electrical Parade surprises.
Meet and greets are back in a number of ways. We talk with Sarah about how Disney changed her life and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Howdy, partners! For your safety, remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast. And be sure to watch your ears. If any of you folks are wearing hats or glasses, best remove them, because Tag and Teresa have the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of April 27th, 2022. I'm Teresa Urban.
How is it already April 27th? And I'm Tag Bushman. We want to send a shout out, a big thank you to Sherry H. and Emily K. for becoming official weekly tiers on our Patreon, and also to Christy J. for increasing their support. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to join the community.
Well, our friends over at All Enchanting Ears have been busy. They make fun and unique ears, face masks, plus ear holders, straw toppers, lithophanes, and so much more. They are offering a special discount code available for all weekly tiers. Be sure to use DLWeekly10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Head on over to allenchantingears.com to check them out. They also just teased their new line. They were actually just in the parks this past week, and I'm really excited for their new line, specifically because one of the new sets is Main Street Electrical Parade themed, and they were so fun. So yes, very, very excited for this. So go check them out.
Well, calling all weekly tiers, we will be hosting a mini attraction meetup at Disneyland on Thursday, May 12th, 2022 at 2 p.m. at the Mark Twain. So just meet us at the Mark Twain loading area at 2 p.m. and we'll take a fun trip around the rivers of America together. Mm-hmm. We hope to see as many of you there as possible. I know it's sort of short notice. It's only a couple weeks away, actually.
As of this recording, there were still reservations available for specifically key holders. I did not check the ticket calendar, but key holder reservations were still available.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the news.
Well, it seems like Halloween just happened, and yet Disney is already celebrating halfway to Halloween. Food from Disney chefs at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World are on tap, along with a Twitter watch party for Hocus Pocus on Wednesday, April 27th at 5 p.m. Disneyland time, which will also include some digital wallpaper downloads. On Thursday, more announcements will be made to celebrate. The Disney Parks TikTok account will have live content from all of the Disney Parks locations with some more surprises.
I'm just excited. I don't remember when they started this halfway to Halloween thing, but I find it really fun and really excited. Halloween time is definitely one of my favorite times to go to the resort. So having these teasers of information in the spring is just really fun and really exciting to me. So I'm excited for Thursday because I want more information. I like the little teasers that they sent were fun. However, it was mostly for Walt Disney World stuff that they sent stuff for. There wasn't too much. I wasn't too excited about the teasers that they sent for us. So I'm excited to see and learn more.
Yeah, Halloween is such a fun time around the resort and at the parks. The fact that, it's probably the, second biggest holiday of the resort after Christmas?
If not the most I was just thinking, thing. I'm like, I don't know which one's more popular, because they're both wonderful for their own separate reasons, and I do really enjoy both, but man, that's a hard one. I think for me, Halloween is the bigger one for me. Well, hands down, it's the bigger one for me because I've only done Christmas time once and Halloween time many times. So I didn't even know it. But yeah, Halloween time is definitely the big one for me.
Well,
it's so fun.
That also means that we're halfway to another Oogie Boogie Bash, possibly, with Villains Grove and everything like that.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for them to announce Oogie Boogie Bash info on
That would
Thursday.
be
I'm really
amazing.
hoping for that, whether or not I'll get my wish.
And then they can do their fancy thing that they love doing, which is saying tickets will go on sale on Disneyland.com no earlier than noon on whatever the day it is. Then you're like,
Yes.
thank you for telling us a time. Appreciate that.
Yes, exactly. Well, guests visiting the Disneyland Resort in the next few days can experience the ghoulishly delicious treats to celebrate halfway to Halloween. At Downtown Disney, there will be a cheddar pickle dog at Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs through May 1st. There will also be a spooky churro at California Churro through May 4th. This was surprising to me.
I was surprised mostly because there's a ton of stuff at Disney World and only a couple little things at Downtown Disney.
And it's sad because I was kind of referencing this in the last one. It was just sad because there was, and it's not even in the parks. It's in Downtown Disney is our fun. Our celebrating food is, there's fun. There's cool. Okay, I know we're not a Disney World
But Disney World has this cool
but they're
pop
cool.
thing. Yeah, they've got this at Magic Kingdom Park. They have something called the Sleepy Hollow, or at Sleepy Hollow. Lady on the Gravestone 50th Chilling Chamber Pop. It looks like a push pop with the person who's on the gravestone from the stretching room. Looks amazing.
Yep. And I just like the push pop, like the decoration around the outside is also the wallpaper from the Haunted Mansion. So obviously we love that. Lots of different treats that are themed to the Sanderson sisters.
Cake looks good too.
Devilishly good. This is fun. The very popular Mickey Mummy popcorn bucket is coming back, and it only sounds like it's going to be back in Disney World.
Yeah.
But I'm still surprised by that. So April 28th through May 1st, you can get that popcorn bucket.
I want these so bad at the Grand Floridian. They have a Hocus Pocus Amok Cakes, which is devil's food cake with peanut butter filling, decorated to resemble all three Sanderson sisters. So it's got one that looks like Mary, and one that looks like Winifred, and one that looks like Sarah.
I feel like we could DIY these ourselves,
but they're so cool.
It's the like how they did the frosting that makes these cupcakes what they are. So I think maybe we'll have to get back into our Disney kitchen
cooking
days and see.
Community manager Kate said she made those exact cupcakes last year. And so, see, Kate, Disneyland's stealing them from you. Or Kate actually is a culinary person at Disney and we don't know it. A new Disneyland After Dark event is coming to the resort for the first time. Disneyland After Dark Grad Night Reunion will take place on multiple nights throughout June at Disney California Adventure Park.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I think it's cool. It's like, because the kids get the grad night stuff. So it's neat that they've got like this reunion thing, because why should just the graduating people have all the fun?
I suppose, but it's priced the same as what the other, like what the Oogie Boogie Bash would be or whatever. This doesn't excite me.
Really? Because I'm excited about this one.
I have, I guess, higher expectations for after party things. I mean, maybe the description just wasn't written well, and maybe it's it's just not speaking to me.
There is one aspect of this that does not sound appetizing at all, which is the unique cafeteria-inspired food and beverage offerings.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. I feel like somebody in the creative department was just like, oh, we need a new After Dark series. What should we do? Well, it's grad nights have. Oh, let's do a reunion grad night. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. Well, I'm just not as excited.
Speaking of our culinary person, Kate, in the chat, I just want to say she is very excited for this because it is her, like what is it, anniversary.
And Donna in our chat here is also excited about it because it's her 40th, so she's hoping that they're going to maybe do it next year. And I could see how if you got to experience grad night when you were a high school grad, how it would be cool to like these two are thinking along the lines of going to, doing grad night again. I could see that being a draw, but since I didn't even know grad nights were a thing because out here in the Midwest, we didn't know about Disneyland grad nights. So I think maybe that's why it's not speaking to me as loudly.
One other thing I like about these these After Dark events is they're doing multiple nights. So it's not just because for a while they would have like special things that were like one night or 2 nights. It's nice that this one has at least 3 nights to it because it makes it so it's not as hard to get tickets and stuff. So it's kind of cool.
Well, the Main Street Electrical Parade returned this last week with a few new surprises that weren't announced. We all knew about the new text on the lead float, which is, has the 50, it goes through 3 cycles now. So it's Disneyland Presents, the Main Street Electrical Parade, and it says 50 years. So we knew about that. We knew about the reimagined finale float, but even more was changed. The intro to the parade has been reworked to include part of Walt's opening day speech, and the music has been updated for the finale float. Super well. I'm very excited about this. A little bit of extra magic was added to the finale float along It's a Small World and Main Street. Projections that tie into the Mary Blair theming of the new float are presented as the float passes by guests.
So this was a surprise. I didn't know that this was even happening until I saw the video that you pointed out to me the other night when we did our supporter hangout and our Patreon, public live stream on YouTube. So I was very surprised. The intro, I have conflicting feelings about the intro. I know that they're trying to be more inclusive and they're trying to do like hello friends and all that good stuff. So you couldn't really have ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls like the original. So, but they changed like the entire, it doesn't sound like the same voice. That's the only thing that I struggle with there because it's so ingrained in my mind how it's supposed to sound, and the voice is different. Like I don't care that it's saying something different; it just sounds different. I wish
person voicing it.
Well, I wish that they could digitally figure it out to make it all the same. But otherwise, I think that these are some really neat changes. Now, if over time, so we've talked about this a lot, that I'm ready for it to just go off into retirement. But I think if over time they went through and they started like swapping out floats, so maybe 5 or 6 years down the road, it's actually a completely different parade.
Don't touch Elliot. That's my only ask. He needs to.
But how many people even know who Elliot is anymore?
I don't think it matters. He is so. Why do you think he got the popcorn bucket? He's all like. I think maybe it's my bias, but I think I do. I think he's probably the most like. Quote unquote popular parade float, aside from the little, like, I think the other super popular ones are the little spinning bugs. So like the little bee and the little snail and the turtle. Well, I guess the turtle's not a bug, but like those little spinner ones.
But would you be okay if they kind of had that same ability to move around and spin and go like do things if they were like different things? Like, could they replace those with different things, but kind of had the same effect? Like, I don't know. I don't know of a good change for Elliot for sure, because that is a very unique float. He's up there, all that kind of stuff. But like the little bug things,
Elliot's
I think you could do some stuff with.
Yeah, I think replacing Elliot would be hard for me. And for me, you could probably replace all of the other floats. Like I honestly think, and I know that there are people that don't think this, but I honestly think the new finale float, from what I've seen, I'm very excited to see it in person, but to me, it seemed it plus the parade, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I did think some people were, I didn't even know, again, we've only seen videos at this point. In a couple weeks, we do get to see it. We do get to see it in person, so we'll have more opinions, I'm sure, then. I didn't even notice this, but a lot of people are complaining that they don't have cast members dancing alongside anymore, and they missed that element of it. I honestly didn't even notice because I was so, like, wrapped up in looking at all of the stuff on the new float. But I do think it'd be cool if they could maybe have characters or something walking along with that other float. I think I've also figured something out. Okay. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole this weekend.
No.
And I was watching some different videos. And one of the things that someone said, forgive me, I don't even remember who it was that said this, but they said the reason they struggle with enjoying the Main Street Electrical Parade versus like Paint the Night is the lack of dancers. There's not as much movement. It's just you're kind of watching parade float. You just sit and watch floats move by.
Sure.
They're only real dancers. You've got the donkey dancers, which they're great. Like that's such a good pep of energy in the show. And then you also got like the dream sequence with like the princesses. So you've got like the ballroom dancing, but other than that, you don't have too many. There's a couple characters walking here and there, but there's not a lot of like dancing and stuff. I think there's more dancers, it felt like, with other parades.
But yeah, I think if they were to do something where they would slowly replace some floats, I can see leaving some of the really popular ones, like the Mickey one with the drum in the beginning. I think that's like never going to change. Although I thought the original Blue Fairy, not the Blue Fairy who led the parade, I thought would never change either. And that changed. So
it is interesting because there's Tinkerbell's new that we didn't have a Tinkerbell float. There's been updates and changes throughout the years. So it'd be nice if each time it came back, maybe there was an update or a change, so then it feels a little bit more current and relevant.
Sure.
I get you don't want to get rid of the nostalgia, because a lot of why this parade is so popular is the nostalgia of it
Sure.
all. So yeah, it could be real cool if you kind of balance it out.
You know what the perfect thing would be for Disneyland to do?
To just have DCA have Paint the Night going while Main Street Electrical Parade's going in Disneyland.
Here's my grand entertainment plan for Disneyland. World of Color, Paint the Night,
Yep.
over at DCA.
Yep.
Disneyland, Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yep.
Magic happens during the day.
Yep.
Fantasmic.
Yep.
Fireworks.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many people then wouldn't
wonder-
park hop so much and stuff? It'd be great.
And I wonder, maybe it does get to that point. We've gotten so far off topic right now. I apologize, but maybe it does get to that point.
I hope so.
I could see them doing that.
I don't know. I feel like Magic Happens will come back at some point. Paint the Night, I just don't know what happened. Like, I feel like they've put it in some back far corner of a warehouse.
They're like, we're sorry. I know everyone wants to see Paint the Night, but we just...
Does somebody have the paperwork for that?
We don't know where we put it.
So, spoiler alert to you guys listening. I do want to make this joke real quick. So, as part of our interview, at some point we started talking about how Ken Potrock seems like such a fun guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that we were trying to figure out the buckets that people will go into. And I was like, maybe he's just like, I'll tell you the secret. There's like 3 reservations per bucket. And like, it was just this funny like moment that I was kind of a little gooby. And I want to be like that. I want to be like, so the reason Paint the Night's not back is because it's in my backyard.
I was gonna say, it's like, it's my own personal parade now.
It's like Walt used to like to drive the cars and stuff before the park would open. It's like Ken Potrock has taken Paint the Night home and driving it around.
I don't remember what book it was I was reading, but Walt used to send people on errands with like the Main Street vehicles, so they'd go drive one of the Main Street vehicles to like go. It was actually to go pick him up like liquor, off property. So there they are driving up in like the horseless carriage.
The fire truck. Hey, Walt needs his.
Ever the fire truck.
Walt needs some.
But yeah,
some booze.
So yeah, maybe Ken Potrock just forgot his keys, and so he needed to. You need to get home.
The grocery store down the street from Ken Potrock's house. One day they come and it's just a giant semi from Cars from Paint the Night.
No, why not?
With the return of the electrical parade, 2 items have been very popular. The Elliott popcorn bucket and the turtle sipper drew long lines from guests wanting to get their hands on this fun collectible. Both of these items are available at multiple carts and dining locations, so be sure to check around if you're trying to get your hands on one of these. New for something this popular is the ability to mobile order these through the Disneyland app. This could save hours of time waiting in line.
I thought this was a very, very smart move. Very smart move. I was chatting with Alex, our social media manager, because he was there this weekend. He just happened to have his trip overlap with this. Total dumb luck for him. He didn't plan it out. He already had these dates picked before they announced that all this fun stuff was happening. But he and I were chatting. I said, it's weird to me that we have these buckets and such at, these specific locations that all offer mobile order. I said, I think you need to check. Doesn't hurt anything to check. Otherwise, you're going to be rope dropping a popcorn bucket, which, it might come to that, but whatever.
We did it for candy canes.
It was, yeah. So, I thought it was pretty smart and pretty cool, because doing so helps Disney kind of gauge, right? They can put in the app, okay, this location has however many buckets or however many sippers, and it just comes off of there once the quantity's gone. And so it's when it's there, when it's gone. You don't have people standing in line waiting. You're going to make sure that you don't, it helps with customer and guest satisfaction, because you don't have people waiting in line to then get to the front to say, oh, nope, sorry, we don't have any more.
Yep.
The only thing that's difficult though, which I don't know if there was, I think there was a problem with this because I was looking online. Probably made it a little bit easier for people to get more than the 2 that you were supposed to only have, because it was really supposed to be 2 per person, but I don't know how they were going to kind of police and watch to make sure you didn't get 2 here, 2 here, 2
Right.
here, 2 here. You know, if
Well,
you
the
weren't
app should be able
hopping
to
around.
link that and be like, "Oh, you've already got your amount."
It should, but does it?
Yeah.
No. But I did. It was very sad to see how many popcorn buckets had already been sold.
We talk about all of this technology that Disney keeps using for things, right? Like mobile ordering and Lightning Lane and blah 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 blah. You know what they should work on technology-wise? Tracking sales and letting people only buy a couple things.
Yes, if they're gonna have, if they're gonna have the rules in place, then I feel like they
should
need to
enforce
do
them
something 'cause,
electronically.
Well, and it's like when I went and got my magic key holder straw, they scanned my pass, so I assume if I would have tried to get back in the line, they would have said, "Oh no, you
See,
already have
why
one."
can't they do that for the paid stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Because
why.
Disney makes money on the paid stuff.
Yeah, but the thing that I don't understand is that, again, we're getting so far off topic, is that, so they sell the LA popcorn bucket for what? It was like $32, $33. I was looking on, it was Merci, which is not even it's not eBay. It's not one of the popular resale sites. Those buckets, the quote unquote cheapest one that I saw on there was $60. Most of them were well over $100, and people were paying it. So to me, that's money that Disney's actually losing out on.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
anyways, if they want to figure it out, they will figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, the Main Street Electrical Parade may have stolen the limelight, but World of Color has also returned this past week. Unlike the Electrical Parade, the show is presented in its previous form with no new updates. Guests wanting to get the best viewing possible will want to either book a dining or dessert package or grab a virtual queue reservation promptly at noon. The virtual queue spaces have been filling up almost instantly after becoming available.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, I honestly didn't think that this would turn into a Rise of the Resistance, everybody right at noon getting in to get their virtual queue spot, but apparently it has. What do you, like, is this something that you would stop your day to try to get a virtual spot?
In normal life, no, but it's I think creating some of these things, I understand why we have reservations. I'm not against any sort of reservations, but I think it creates this panic and fear in people that people just rush to do it, whether or not they know they're going to be here. It's like a dining reservation. I don't know if I actually want to eat there or not, but I know I need to get this dining reservation because what if we want to eat there? Same thing with World of Color. I need to jump on and get this boarding group or viewing area thing.
Yep.
I don't know if the kids are going to be tired or not, but if we're here, then we need, I don't know. I did hear that, I don't know how accurate this is, but I did hear that it was 2/3 of the viewing areas were reserved, whether it was for dining or these
VIP kind of things.
Yeah. Well, what are we calling these? Virtual. So it was either for reserved for dining viewing areas or the virtual queue viewing areas, and about 1/3 of the space was still available for walk-up. So that didn't seem too out of whack to me. I thought that was maybe a pretty good. I feel like that's probably about what the ratio was before.
Now,
so that made me happy.
I don't want to be a stick in the mud when it comes to World of Color, but honestly, I've seen World of Color once, and I feel like I don't need to see World of Color again. If I never saw World of Color again, I would not be upset about it. I think it's a good show, but I don't think it has for me, does not have a lot of repeatability. Fantasmic, if I could squeeze it in, I would see it every single night that I was there because I think it's so amazing. So I don't think, if I went to get a virtual queue space for the seating area and I didn't get it, I don't think I'd be that upset.
No.
But I know that there are big fans out there.
Well, and especially because you still have the ability to do the walk-up. So even if you don't get your virtual queue or you don't do a dining reservation, there still is the walk-up availability. Now, it's going to be crazier in the beginning since everything's new again, so it might be difficult to be able to do the walk-up now. But I think when things hopefully, when they kind of settle down, it'll be better. But yeah, no, I agree with you. World of Color, to me, it's lacking something. And really, for me, the parts I don't enjoy out of Fantasmic are the projection parts.
Oh, sure.
I like the actual tangible things. I really like of course, Murphy. But I really liked Flotsam and Jetsam. I'm sad that Flotsam and Jetsam don't come by anymore now. So it was a projection with them.
You never
now
saw
it's
like
just
the original
projection.
Ursula that they used to tote around either.
Nope, I never got to see Ursula. I enjoy like the pirate ship coming by, all the like tangible physical things. I don't enjoy the projections. So that's why to me, honestly, this is going to sound ridiculous. My favorite parts about World of Color are the fountains. Like when they light the fountains up and they just look like these very rich, colorful
like
things.
Afterwards?
Well,
like when you walk away and they're just kind of there? Okay.
Yeah. I like watching the fountains more than I like watching the mist screen projections.
Sure. Yeah. I like the stuff too where it's like the flames shooting up. Although
flames are cool
I did see a report that the big main like center flame is still being like worked on, so is down right now, but is scheduled to come back. So I have not heard. Have you seen anywhere online? Has anybody talked about the clarity of the projections? Because with the new projectors, I heard it was supposed to be better.
Yeah, I haven't heard about the clarity. Lori in our chat here actually just came home from Disneyland. It's Lori from All Enchanting Ears. So maybe Lori can give us some insight on how she felt the projections were. And she just said the colors were amazing and bright. I was going to say the one thing I did notice was photos that I've seen. The images look more crisp in photos than I had thought they looked previously. So I had hopes. I had good hopes and good feels about that.
Well,
so
like 10-year-old projectors.
Yep. Definitely makes a difference.
Well, character meet and greets are back at Disneyland, delighting guests. A variety of interactions can be had around the parks, from standing in line to see a favorite character to casual encounters with a character walking around. One of the longest waits for characters so far has been the Princess Fantasy Fair, with one of the shortest waits at the Fantasyland Theater where Mickey Mouse was spotted.
I think that's because nobody knew he was back there. He was being sneaky.
But that's cool.
Yeah. Nope. I think that's good. And it makes sense since we can't go to Toontown to go visit Mickey and Minnie and friends now. I think it makes sense. And the theater is not open, so I think that's a good utilization of space.
Facepalm.
Uh-oh.
I had to like verbally say that so people listening can understand. I forgot the Toontown was closed because I was like,
no!
why is Mickey at the Fantasyland Theater?
Mickey's was evicted.
Well, this sounds like the perfect mix of what you've been asking for.
Yes. So, I'm hoping this will continue and that this trend will go forward, and this isn't just because it's new, they don't have them stationed in places. I hope it's not going to transition back to that still. Fingers and toes
I think
crossed.
people are very happy with this, though, so I think that they'll get feedback saying that.
New Orleans Square has seen a flurry of activities and walls all over the place the last couple of months. The first section of the modified tiering has been unveiled, and some think look pretty good. The walkways are more open, and without the stairs and larger planters in the way, make it easier for guests to get from one place to another. The brick walls around the planters make a great place for guests to sit for a break as well.
I'm taking it from you reading that you do not think it looks good.
So we linked a video because David from Fresh Baked had a video. He was one of the first people to actually report on what it looks like. And I'm going to hold off full judgment until we're there and see it in person. I'm a little nervous that New Orleans Square has lost some of its character without these bricks. This looks very wide open, and it's giving me like DCA vibes and Galaxy's Edge walkway vibes. I get that it's definitely better for crowd flow, but I think it's not better as far as the overall charm and feel of the area. Because the thing that you didn't realize about those steps or whatever is they have these they were paver looking things, and they had a lot of character and a lot of charm. And so now it's just cement.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at this again. We have it linked in the show notes. It's Fresh Bake's video, and he has some video from Theme Park Obsession. And the first thing that stands out to me, other than the fact that it is a giant slab of concrete, mostly, is what is with these random in the middle of the path?
Those were
lights?
Part of the tiered area. So that was part of the tiered part that they put. So they took the tiering away. They flattened the tiering, but they saved the lamppost.
It feels weird to me that just in the middle of the path there's a lamppost.
Yeah, no, it is weird.
And I agree with you.
So.
I think that they should have done some like stamped concrete or something to make it look.
It lost some of its charm, I think.
I feel like I need to see this in person. I also feel like I need to see it with the rest of the walls down because it still feels strange to me. However, it does look super open and looks like crowd flow will be much easier.
That's what they wanted, but that's not what brings me to Disneyland. What brings me to Disneyland is like the feel and the charm.
What do you think they could have done differently other than like stamp the concrete?
I didn't think it was that big of a deal in the first place. Like, I didn't see why these tiered areas were such a hindrance. Because to me, the pinch point is in front of Pirates. That's the pinch point. Yep. That was the bad part. Where the tiered things that they took out, this is over by like the French Market area.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was that. Personally, I never thought there was a terrible flow area there.
Sure.
In fact, I liked that there was kind of the two sides.
Yeah.
Yes, the raised part was kind of dead space, but I liked that they utilized it for character stuff or for like entertainment
the bands
stuff.
And stuff. Yeah,
I thought it was cool that like the bootstrappers would be up there because almost like this little built-in stage kind of thing.
That's true.
I thought for ambiance stuff, it added a lot.
I also thought it was kind of nice in a way that it was kind of a barrier between the restaurants and like just the walking path.
That's true too.
Because it was a smaller path, so it didn't feel like masses of people were going by you.
No, that's very true.
Now, did you also see that there was some pictures of the queue area for Pirates that looked like they had dug like
digging.
down?
Yeah, they're digging for something. Treasure, apparently.
Well, the first thing I thought was, they're digging. Somebody was talking about making an underground queue. I don't think that's what's happening.
You'd have to dig quite a bit more.
And I also heard that Disneyland, I did not see it anywhere officially, but I saw
There's a rumor
somewhere online that Disney had confirmed that that section of formerly Tarzan's Treehouse is going away. But then I also read that they might just leave the attraction closed.
Yeah.
But then somebody in the comments said that they had like first or second hand knowledge that they already have started retheming parts of it, and they wouldn't do that if they were just going to have it be like a visual part of the land.
Sure.
So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited to hear about it.
It is interesting though that we haven't, talking back on to the treehouse, that I haven't seen any videos or any photo evidence that they have removed that stump. They haven't removed the rope bridge yet either. So it's interesting because I was supposed to have already. Yeah. We'll have to see. They've got a lot of different projects going on right now.
Well, Mother's Day is quickly approaching, and there are a lot of options at the resort to take advantage of. Inside of Disneyland at the Plaza Inn, there's a Mother's Day brunch with Minnie and her friends. At the Grand Californian Hotel and Spa lobby, at the Holiday Cart, there's an assortment of sweet treats. Storytellers is hosting a Mother's Day brunch and dinner. And finally, Goofy's Kitchen at the Disneyland Hotel will offer brunch and dinner as well. I did see that the reservations went live for these about a week ago, and I don't know what's available left. I did not look.
Yeah, I think it's really nice that they're doing a mix of things inside of the park as well as outside of the park. So if you don't want to spend, your full day, or if you don't want to, buy tickets or grab the reservations with your passes, you do have the option to enjoy and celebrate Mom at two of the hotels. I think that's really fun. A new kiosk has been erected outside of the Star Wars Trading Post in downtown Disney. The appearance of this kiosk is perfect timing for the upcoming May the 4th celebration. Additional merchandise will most likely be sold at this location for the event. I will also say they have it kind of covered up, but from what we can see, it also fits very well with like the Star Wars theme. I don't think that this is some other random kiosk that happens to be near the Trading Post. I definitely think this is a Star Wars themed kiosk.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's interesting because I had seen a picture of one of these things, like of this thing a couple days ago or something, and I was like, why are they putting another like booth thing out there, forgetting that we're already through April and May the 4th is coming.
It reminds me a lot of the cart or the stands that they have over by Rise of the Resistance.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
That's like the vibe or feel I get off of the decor of it.
The culinary experts at the Disneyland Resort have done it again. The lobby of the Grand Californian is now the home to a massive edible model of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The display is made from Rice Krispie treats and painstakingly painted by the food artisans. The spires of Black Spire Outpost are featured heavily, along with a large model of the Millennium Falcon.
This looks so cool. And this was a total surprise. I didn't even know, I hadn't heard that this was even in the works. And then poof, there it was. So thank you to the internet for allowing us to like have someone go in there and see it and share it with the world that this exists. I'm fairly confident and certain that it will still be there when we go.
Oh, sure, yeah.
For our May trip, because we're going the 11th through the 15th. So I'm fairly certain that it will still be there, and I definitely want to go check it out. These are always just so amazing and so impressive to me, these food displays that they do. I don't even like sculptures. I don't know. They're incredible.
I was just
like, it's not really a display.
Well, you were
it's
talking,
like
my brain went to a lot of weird places with this. So the first thing was, I was glad to see that it wasn't, that there was a sculpture that wasn't for like a holiday necessarily. Then I realized May the 4th kind of is a holiday. And then I was thinking, because you were talking about how much you like the sculptures, and I was thinking of the gingerbread house and the Haunted Mansion. Yep. And then my brain went to, what if they made a food concoction like this, and they put it in that first room of Rise of the Resistance, and as your cart goes around, you're like circling around this, like the gingerbread house and Haunted Mansion.
That's very in theme. Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe BB-8 decided he wanted to make a culinary thing. But this is so cool, and I'm with you. Who knew this was even coming?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It just popped up.
Mm-hmm. Guests from a galaxy far, far away who have tickets for Star Wars nights coming up can start their meal planning now. Some of the food items have already made it onto the Disneyland mobile app.
So I laughed because I showed this screenshot to producer James about the Star Wars Night exclusive offerings, because the top item was a fried portion bread fritters with red fruit jam, and James said, "What's portion bread?" I said, "You don't remember?"
I remember portion bread.
1/2 portion, and he's like, "Oh,
yep."
But is this? So I'm trying to figure out. So this is like a fritter, but it looks like it has turkey, ham, and Gruyere, so it's almost like a...
it sounds very Monte Cristo, Cristo-esque to me.
That's what I thought too. Good, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. And the interesting thing too is all of the offerings that have appeared are actually, of all places, Cafe Orleans. That was not the place that I would think when I think Star Wars food. I don't think I would have thought Cafe Orleans, but that's where they all are. There's, a ton of different stuff. There's Flushing cabbage pancakes. There's fried reptilian wings. There's spicy Chondo pepper fries. All sorts of cool stuff. The thing that I really like is, as you can tell by the names, they're very in theme.
Oh yeah.
But then they also explain what it is. So like, let's see. I'm very sorry. I'm going to butcher this. The roasted Gornt yakitori, which is a tender filet mignon, spring onions, and a soy glaze. Like, I would not have known what that was. So thankfully they have these wonderful...
for a filet mignon, $25 is not too bad.
No. So all sorts of fun stuff.
I am curious to see pictures of this portion bread fritter, because a fritter is different than what you would get with a Monte Cristo, because Monte Cristo is like a breaded thing. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, because a fritter to me seems closer to like a beignet in like kind of how they do it sometimes, like for some reason. Yeah.
Fried dough. It's probably going to just have like little bits of turkey ham and the Gruyere in it.
I'm excited to see it.
We have the bacon jalapeno one. I think it was bacon cheddar jalapeno. I don't remember what all was in it now. But we had a savory fritter on one of our trips.
Oh,
and it just had little bits of this stuff.
Okay.
And it wasn't like big full pieces or like, a big slab of ham.
Well, now I want a Monte Cristo. Well, weekly tiers who might want to own a piece of Disneyland or the Walt Disney Studios history should check out the next Van Eaton Galleries auction. The auction will feature over 900 artifacts from the company and park. Specific items include the original production background from the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoon Ozzy of the Mounted, the original artwork for a 1932 Mickey Mouse comic strip, a Gustav Tengrin layout drawing for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, an original Walt Disney Studios animator's desk, original Mary Blair concept paintings, rare animators maquettes, Walt Disney autographs, and much more.
Oh my gosh. There's a link in the show notes, of course, but when you go to the website, they have a digital brochure, and there was you could actually get and purchase this brochure catalog, purchase this catalog, and they would send it to you, but it filled to the brim. There was some really cool stuff in there. There was a Mark Davis sketch that we saw. Tag mentioned there was there was Mary Blair artwork in there, and then this gem that I just had to point out.
I have to read this. The
description. I don't know what's better, the actual item or the description.
So I'm scrolling just to set the stage. I was scrolling through, and there was this picture of this gentleman with a midriff on, sitting there looking
like a midriff cut shirt.
Yeah, sitting there looking like a model.
He's splayed out.
And so the description is, it's for those of you who want to know, if you go to the link in our show notes, it's on page 144. Men of the Park Employee Calendar, Disneyland, 1984. Too hot for the souvenir stand. This is an unauthorized 16-month calendar titled Men of the Park, showcasing a prime selection of the young male cast members who truly make Disneyland the happiest place on earth. With beefcake, fashion, and editorial photography by Rosh Mishima, the eminently tasteful calendar depicts a different park cast member each month.
All I thought was how they had the fireman calendar, the fireman with kitties, or I was, of all of the memorabilia in the Disney universe, I was not aware that this existed.
It's something.
It was fun to go be looking through all of this really cool historical thing, and then all of a sudden it's what is this? We busted up laughing. It was great. But for those of you that are interested, the cool thing with this auction and with this, it's almost kind of like a show. It is all on display, and it is free to the public if you want to go check it out. So now through May 11th, Monday through Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., you can go check out all of these things on display at the Van Eaton Galleries. It's
I mean, that's an attraction in and of itself.
I think that's so cool. It's almost like a museum. All I was thinking about was, I wish I would have had this fresh in my mind when we met Becky Klein, because I always wonder, what does the archives think of these auctions?
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff is probably things that they wished they had in their collection, or maybe it's stuff that maybe they have umpteen other Mark Davis sketches, so they don't really care about this one specific one, because obviously there's got to
from the company.
Yeah, because obviously there's got to be a balance with how much the archives can keep and how much they can't keep, because there's only just so much space. But I think that would have been a really great question for Becky Klein. I just am curious what the archives thinks when these big auctions come out and all this stuff kind of resurfaces. Well, visitors to the Disneyland Resort are no longer required to wear masks in most situations. Guests using First Egg, for example, though, will still need to wear a mask, but the transportation, like the buses, the monorail, those things have now no longer require mask wearing.
Yeah, so almost completely back to normal in terms of mask usage throughout the park. There has been a lot of confusion and talk around the internet about the renewability of the Magic Keys. It all started with a single post online that stated that Disneyland would not allow renewal of their Dream Key. It is a lot more nuanced than that. At this point, we're still a couple of months away from the vast majority of people renewing their keys in July, since passes can be renewed 45 days before expiration. Disneyland does not seem to have made a decision on what they're going to do with renewals, since the top 2 tiers of Magic Keys are currently sold out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So what sparked this was somebody, the first thing that I had seen of it was somebody chatting with Disney, because they had upgraded the key from a pass that, how do I want to say this? It was like the military pass or something. And so, or one of the military tickets. And the military tickets aren't like the normal tickets. You don't have to use them within like 2 weeks of the first time you use it. You have I think it's a bigger window. So this person's pass was expiring. And so it was kind of this weird gray area because her pass was expiring prior to like the year anniversary of park passes actually being sold. So I think that situation is much different than other people's situations, but it does bring up a good question because she, I think, was told that she would not be able to renew at this time. So then I don't know if that's true of all pass holders or if that was just that specific situation or what, but it definitely got a lot of attention very, very quickly. And we don't have any, like Tag said, we don't have any true answers from Disney yet as to if this is going to be an issue or not an issue. Because it's really hard for me to imagine that Disney, if you're a current key holder, that I can understand them being sold out to new key holders. Sure. They don't want to add to the numbers. But if you already have one, I can't imagine them not allowing you to renew it. I could be totally wrong, though. I could be 100% wrong. But it's just interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with the Magic Keys. Because, of course, there's also that the lawsuit that's going on, too. So who knows? Who knows what might be in store? But it would be nice to get some official word sooner rather than later so that we all aren't kept wondering. Yeah,
there's a lot of conjecture online that is saying that Disney hasn't said anything because they're trying to make up their mind because with this lawsuit and stuff, they don't want to change too many things because that could get them in other different legal issues and all this stuff. Obviously, Disneyland hasn't said anything, so we don't really know what the real situation is. Like I said, there's been some rumors that maybe Disneyland's going to do a totally different type of program. However, I feel like that's unlikely.
Yeah, I don't know how they'd be able to do that.
There's been talk about how Disneyland maybe will not allow renewals, but will reopen sales to different people to kind of allow other people an opportunity to get the keys. I will say from our own supporters in the chat, there are a couple people who are thinking that they're probably not going to get that level of key, a higher level of key the next time they renew because of reservations and all this other stuff. So it could just kind of work itself out if if enough people feel that way.
Yeah, if it were me, and if I was in charge of how to handle this, to me, what's logical right now, as far as what to do in the current situation, I'm not going to get into the lawsuit part. We're going to pretend that part's not happening. Just black and white. Do you renew keys when they're sold out? Yes, I would still renew keys when they're sold out. I just would halt new sales because, like you said, there's going to be people that won't renew. There's going to be people that find, you know what, that top tier, that higher tier one actually was more than I needed. I'm going to drop myself down to one of these lower ones. People are going to kind of naturally shift. And so it's not that some of those keys are going to be sold out now forever and ever and ever. And you can never get one. It's not going to be like a wait list to get into Club 33 membership type thing. I don't think we'll get into that situation.
Let's hope not.
I shouldn't have said that. I maybe have just jinxed something. But anyways, it's going to be an ever evolving news topic, I think. Hopefully we'll be getting more information, and as soon as we do, we will share it all with you to get you guys all to know as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just happy that we have the level below these two levels, so it's a little less dramatic.
I'm just gonna hold my phone, since we don't have plastic cards anymore. I'm still upset about that. I'm just going to hold my phone and my key a little bit tighter.
Hey, at least you are actually a legacy pass holder.
Legacy pass holder, yeah.
Yeah.
I am glad that I got it in 2019 just so that I was being able to do it,
Yeah.
Psst. Avast there. There be squalls ahead. And James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land. How are we doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Yeah? All right.
I'm nervous. He gave me not a sneak peek, but while he was putting together...
Are you colluding with Trivia Land?
No, while he was putting together trivia, he had this evil little laugh going. So I said, What is that? He's like, oh, you are not going to like these questions.
No, I said, I like the listeners.
Oh, yeah. You're not gonna. Basically, I like what...
So, yes, I do like the listeners, especially the ones that I heard from most recently and I was able to choose from for tonight. So, let's get into it and see how you feel about them, shall we?
Yes.
All right. Your first listener submitted question today from listener Donna S. What is the max capacity of passengers on the streetcar?
Oh.
Which streetcar? The one in DCA or the one in Disneyland? Are you talking about the one that
yeah, like the horse-drawn streetcar?
Or just the regular streetcar? But I think if you call it the streetcar, it's probably the one from DCA.
I don't...
The red car trolley?
That's the trolley. I don't know if I call... I call that the red cart. I call it the trolley, not a streetcar.
Well, I'll give numbers for both. So I'm going to say for the horse-drawn carriage on Main Street... You can probably get,
I'm going to say
5 per row, and there are what?
I'm going to
6
say,
rows?
yeah, I was going to say
7
25 to 30. But my random guess was 25.
27. Well, because there's that front. Actually, I don't think you could sit up in the front.
No, I don't think you can sit in the front.
As I'm vetting, I'm going with Disneyland horse-drawn streetcar.
Okay.
I'm going to say 25. Are you going to stick with 27?
I'll stick with 27.
27 and 25.
Unless they're counting children, then you could probably do.
Let's not overthink it.
30 would be my next guess. 25 to 30.
Well, do you want to change it to 30 then?
Are we how plus and minus, or can we do ranges? Or
dead on.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with 25 then.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to stick with 25?
Probably not, but we're sticking with it.
So Teresa said 30 and Tag said
No,
27.
I said 25.
You said 30 and Tag said 27. Got it.
Is he trying to throw this for you?
Trying to?
This whole process seems shady
is
tonight.
Is this helpful or is this hurtful? I don't know what
Your
this is.
Your second question from listener Jessica G. All behind area signs read cast members only. However, there are 2 signs in Disneyland that read employees only. Do you know where they are?
Oh, is there one in...
I thought we knew
this is going to sound really weird, but is there one in Mickey's Movie Barn? Oh, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, I think. And you said Disneyland?
Disneyland.
Because I was thinking like the movie barns, like...
Employees only. I feel like...
I think Roger Rabbit, because it's like I think there's one in Roger Rabbit.
Is there an employees only on the Mark Twain? Because there's that gated area where the steam engine is. I'm going to say the Mark Twain. There's 2, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm trying to think of other things that thematically would go with employees only.
Star Tours? Since it's like a space hub, so they're like people working there.
Maybe.
Remember, it is behind areas signs. So it doesn't necessarily have to be thematically. It's not necessarily part of the decor. It's the behind areas signs is the exact question.
What do you mean by behind areas?
So like getting into the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
The actual doors used by
like
employees.
Yeah, I think it would still have to work thematically though. Oh, the cinema. The Main Street Cinema.
Is there an employees only?
There's the door to get like where Tilly, the ticket taker, is sitting.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to jump on your bandwagon for that one. Yeah, so I'll say the cinema and the Mark Twain. And you're saying Roger Rabbit and the cinema?
Yeah, I think there's. I think in Roger Rabbit, in like, because like the queue area's got like Jessica Rabbit's dressing room, but there's other doors too, and I feel like I saw one that said like employees only.
Okay.
I could be totally making that up though.
I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
And your third question from listener Sarah P. The Grand Californian Hotel is modeled after a specific style design of the 20th century to give the appeal of Western National Park lodges. What is the name for this style of design?
It's the arts and crafts style.
Arts and crafts.
Yeah, because it was Yeah, because when you're on the monorail, it says designed after the famed arts and crafts movement in California.
Oh, good. See, I just was going to say it was craftsman. But I'm going to jump on your arts and crafts bandwagon.
Yeah, it was the arts and crafts movement. Although I love that lobby is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. And your fourth and final question of the night from listener Andy M. How many living things are depicted in the Haunted Mansion stretching room portraits? Bonus if you can tell me what they are.
Living things?
So there's the lady sitting on top of the tombstone. That's one. There's the three guys on top of each other.
Alive?
Yeah, she has the axe in her hand.
Okay.
And then there's the three guys who are sinking into the quicksand.
You've got Sally on the tightrope plus the alligator.
Oh, yeah, because that's a living thing.
1, 2.
So 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. And then you've got the dynamite guy.
7.
Living things. So, like, are the gargoyles depict living things that are being depicted?
Oh, yeah, because, he said the portraits, though. You said the portraits, right?
He said in the
How many living
room.
things depicted in the portraits?
Oh, in the portraits.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I feel like there's a flower growing at the base of the tombstone that
oh my goodness,
the woman's
you're going that
on.
crazy?
Does that count?
No, we're not counting that for purposes of this question.
It is a living thing.
Okay.
I'm 7.
7. I'm with you.
Is that your final answer?
The hanging guy. Oh, portraits.
Well, the hanging guy's dead.
Well, but yeah. The hanging guy's dead, but it's also portraits.
So that's your final answer. 7.
Yes.
Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Stick around until after the discussion topic, and we'll all find out together.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we actually have a weekly tier on, Sarah, who's coming on, and she's a huge Disney fan, and she's going to talk about how being a Disney fan created some special magic for somebody in her life and also changed her life later on. So it's going to be a very cool, interesting discussion, I think. So welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're super excited for you to be here as well. And I mean, we were talking about this before the interview, the whole story or the whole interview basically is going to be your very cool, very interesting, very different Disney story. But let's tell us the story before your big story. So what was it that got you interested in Disney and or Disneyland?
When I was a little kid, like maybe 9 years old, I had the opportunity to go to Disneyland, and we just went one time. Like, we're from Washington State. My parents had 5 kids at the time. They only brought the oldest 3 because we had like a cousin who was doing something in California and wanted everybody to come. And so we went to Disneyland. It was like 2 days. I was 9 years old. And then we never went again. I went once when I was 9 and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I was terrified of Indiana Jones, but I went on it to impress my cousin. And we just kind of forgot about it as a family. But my mom, every once in a while, she would just talk about remember how fun Disneyland was? Remember how great that was? And we'd always be like, yeah, great, awesome. But we never thought of it because, growing up, with 6 kids in a family like that, you just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I had completely put it out of my mind of that's something that people with money do. That's not going to happen again. Maybe it could happen again, but it's not something we're actively planning for. I went once when I was 9 years old. The family loved it. I got to ride the rocket rods when I was there, which is a piece of Disney history that was only open for 9 months. And I was oh, that's the ride actually sucked. But
you're one of the few people that can claim you rode the rocket rods. That's pretty cool.
I love that I can claim that because I only went once as a little kid, and then all of my other experiences have been as an adult. So so when I was in college, we had some exercises where you're goal setting and things like that. And they're I want you to write an actual bucket list. And I was just making a list. It's just oh, I'd like to get married someday, have a family, like plan for retirement, and someday I would love to surprise my mom and go back to Disneyland again. And I'm thinking like, this is going to be when I'm 45, when I have all kinds of money and saved forever and ever. And so I just like thought of it one day. I was just like, oh, that would be kind of cool someday to be able to do that. And I did not think it was going to be anytime soon. So, when I was around 23 or 22, graduated from college, I had a job, and the present that I had in mind for my mom for Christmas fell through. And so I went on Disney's website and like priced out a trip, but that was before I knew that there were other options besides like the Disneyland hotel and things like that. So I priced it out, and I was just like, oh, wow, like that's going to be like $4,000 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I like closed that book for another like 2 more years because it's like, oh, I looked at the Disneyland website and priced it out. And that's not, I don't know if that's really like accurate of, I mean, like if you can stay, you can do, you don't need to spend all that. Like,
Right.
Anyways, fast forward a couple of more years, I was like maybe 24, 25. Had a coworker at my job come and tell me about, he just got back from Disneyland. And I was like, this was the first time in my adult life I had ever talked to another adult who went to Disneyland often. And so this was like the first time it ever like came into my reality as like, oh, like you work at my same job and you take your kids to Disneyland. So like maybe this isn't all that like crazy. And so he was talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's on my bucket list to someday take my mom to Disneyland. And he was like, you need to do it, and you need to do it this year. And I'm like, wait, what? And I talked about how we have such a big family, and that it would be awesome to do like a family trip with all 8 of us because there's 6 kids and our mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, from experience, don't try to do that, because like trying to get all those schedules to align and for everyone to get on board, it's like, it's never going to happen. He's like, I've tried to do that with my family, and we just stopped because we were just like, we're going the first week of June, come if you want. So he said, just take just you and your mom. Like, would anyone be offended in your family? I'd be like, no, they wouldn't care. They would think it's cool. And so I think it was around like March of 2017. I talked to this guy and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Maybe I'll think about this for Christmas, like this year. So I had a weekend, just like, I think I was dog sitting actually. And I had a weekend at somebody else's house, and I go on YouTube and go online and like try to price out a Disney trip. And I think he had told me, he's like, no, don't stay at the Disneyland hotel. It's really, really expensive. You can stay anywhere. Like there are all kinds of like Quality Inns and Howard Johnson, and you don't have to spend all that money. So I was like, oh, okay. So I go on this fateful weekend, and I find Disney YouTube, and it's like Fresh Baked, like Secrets of the Haunted Mansion and Secrets of Big Thunder Mountain and Opening Day Disneyland, and like here's what Walt like had a dream when he opened the park, and like here's how to do it affordably. And I lost my mind because I priced out the trip, and it was like I literally like I didn't have like a lot of money, but I literally had the money in my bank account that day because I think I had some Alaska Airlines miles that made the flights affordable. I think I looked at like a Quality Inn and like the tickets, and I was just like, oh my, like it literally just all came real to me in one weekend. And I was like jumping out of my skin because I was just like, wait, so you're telling me I don't have to wait till I'm like rich to do this? Just go. So I was going to do that for Christmas. Like that was my plan. It's like, oh, it's March, and like, I think by this time it was May. I was like, oh, I can like do this for Christmas and surprise my mom. Oh, well, became very apparent to me very quickly that I was not going to be able to wait Christmas to hold this secret in, because I can't even, it maybe sounds crazy, but it was such an amazing like time for me, because imagining like, I know Tag, you've been really into Disneyland like your whole life, but just imagine like and you too, Teresa, imagine like those 10 years of like fun and excitement just hit you all in one weekend. Just like, I cannot believe how affordable this is compared to what I thought it was.
She's just like, why have I not been going these past however many years?
And I was just like, oh my gosh. And that will get into my story later, like the real, like the Disney adult thing. That will come in later, but my whole life changed that weekend, and none of my friends, like, they're just like, whatever, Sarah, like, okay.
You're going to Disneyland. Like, that's great. Yeah.
My family, besides my mom, were just like, okay, like, oh, that's cool. Sounds great. And like, you know what it's like to people who don't understand, and they're just like, okay, cool. So I was just a ball of nerves, and I decided that it's like, okay, it can't be Christmas. It's going to have to be her birthday, because that was like the closest like occasion.
You're like, I'm just going to maybe do this for Memorial Day. I don't know. I just need a reason.
Happy August.
Yeah.
I'm going to make up a holiday.
I know. I was so glad that her birthday was like soon, or else I would have exploded if I had to wait from May to Christmas to do this. So I spent like all of May and June just like all in on Disney YouTube, and like Fresh Baked and Mr. Cheesy Pop, and just all of those awesome channels that we love, and Offhand Disney. And I just learned everything. And I learned about the history, and I learned about like the attention to detail, and I learned all the tips and tricks of how to like make it affordable, and like Rope Trap. I learned about like getting a touring plan. And so it was literally just like 6 weeks of just like, I basically became, if I didn't become a Disney adult overnight that one weekend, it was over the next 6 weeks. So I
feel like you went through a Disneyland boot camp.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Looking back on it now, I was just like, I wanted to tell every single person that I met that, but they wouldn't have gotten it. Like, I remember telling people that I was really excited, and I was like, I get to surprise my mom for the trip to Disneyland for her birthday, and they'd be like, oh, that's nice. And I'm just like, oh,
you don't understand. I thought this was a once in a lifetime, never going to happen thing, and all of a sudden I realized it's not that impossible.
I know. It really wasn't that impossible at all. It was so amazing. So I surprised her for her birthday. I actually had a really, really funny like guffaw and snafu. I for some reason I didn't understand the website, but I got the tickets mailed to me. So I had the tickets mailed to me like physically, and I was really scared and nervous. Maybe I got them mailed to me because I wanted that to be like in the car that I surprised her with. Yeah. And so I took a picture of them and meant to send them to my sister. Like, oh my God, the tickets are here. They're in. I sent it to my mom.
Oh. You're like, oh no.
So I was just like, how am I going to... Like, there's no caption either. It was just like a picture of 2 Disneyland tickets. I sent it to her, and me and my mom live in the same town. It's a small town. And I was about to go like drive to her work and like, hey mom, can I see your phone? Just like, I was literally out the door, and then my mom sees it, and she's just like, what's that? And I just literally make up something, and I'm like, junk mail. Can you believe that someone would send fake Disneyland tickets?
And she bought it?
Yeah, because it literally wasn't on her radar at all. Like, the fact that this surprise was coming, it wasn't even on her radar. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I could not believe I just did that. Almost ruined it.
Crisis averted.
Yes.
Okay, well.
Finally the surprise comes.
Yeah.
And finally the surprise comes, and it was the best time ever. I surprised her for her birthday in June, and we went in September because I saw online that was like a really good time to go, low crowds, and we just like had the best time ever. Like, we had a blast. So I guess you could say that's my Disney story, but I mean, like, that's the beginning of it.
Yeah, I was like, we're getting into the whole discussion, and we haven't even gotten past the first question. But
fine.
I think it's totally. I think you had to take it there, so we'll come back to that. Let's as those people say, we'll just put a pin in that for now.
Just put a pin.
Yes.
So we're kind of jumping a little bit for the next question. But when you go into Disneyland on your first day of a visit, which way do you go? Left towards Adventureland, through the castle?
I've thought about this question a lot because I have listened to every episode of DLWeekly, and I can't say that I pick any direction because I'm always there with somebody different.
Mm-hmm.
So I now go with my mom, my sister, I've gone with my boyfriend, and I've gone with other like multi-generational family groups. And I always just defer to the people who are with me because I don't know if I have a preference. So like, for example, my mom doesn't like Space Mountain. And so when I'm with her, we don't go that way. My sister is all about rope dropping Indiana Jones. So when I'm with her, we all go that way. And so, and when I went just me and my boyfriend, I picked Space Mountain for him. So I picked right for him because he had never been before. And I was like, I think he should do Space Mountain first. So I guess I would say left Space Mountain if it was just only me. But I also think hitting up Fantasyland and going straight is also a really, really good bet too, because the lines are going to be really short there too. So.
Yeah, you can knock a lot out if you do Fantasyland first.
Yeah.
You got to do Peter Pan first, though, because that's...
Yes. You do
everybody
have to, the order in which you do them.
If you're not, like, at Rope Drop and within, like, the first 50 people at Rope Drop, like, it's not even worth going on Peter Pan. I've seen the line for Peter Pan at Rope Drop going, like, through the castle out onto the drawbridge.
I mean, this sounds ridiculous because anytime that you're waiting to get on an attraction, you're breaking this rule. But my rule for some of the rides are like, if it feels like I'm waiting 10 times longer than what the actual ride duration is, I don't want.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I have certain rules with certain attractions, and for some reason the dark rides are one of them. I think because they're so much shorter, it's hard for me to want to devote like an hour to standing in the queue. The other hard part's the queue.
The line also moves really slow because they load really slow.
Yeah.
And so I think people like their brains to be tricked. Like, they like to be walking in a queue.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
definitely.
I like that too, but you're right. There's something about those dark rides that just seems like those lines just move. And I think part of it is they were built when Americans were much smaller than they are now. So it feels
very tight,
cramped in there.
They are.
And when you're not moving...
Yeah. And there's nothing to look at. Yeah. There's nothing, I mean, now Peter Pan, the queue does have that game, but you have to get in so far before you can start playing the game. And my terrible luck is once we get to that point, then that's when the line feels like it starts moving. Clearly it's been moving at the same rate the entire time.
There's not even any time to play the game once you get in.
When we were there last time, one of the things that took forever was they were holding people for an exceptionally long time at the merge with the ADA people because they were like holding us, and they would, and like there wasn't even anybody waiting, but they would like hold off or something,
just like at that point.
And so we're just standing there not moving, and they like wait until the walkway from that corner to the load is almost empty, and then they're like, all right, now you can move. And it's just like,
wow,
none of these attractions were made for any of this, and that's why these things are terrible anyway.
When they closed the Christmas shop next to Peter Pan and moved it to like Holiday Plaza or what was it?
Plaza Point.
In Main Street. I really thought that they were going to make that Peter Pan queue, but they kept it as a shop, and I was like, dang, I was really hoping that they would just get it out and make like an indoor queue for Peter Pan. But no.
That, we're like, talk about going off track. That would have been, they could have done like a miniature version of, have you been to Walt Disney World yet, Sarah?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you done Peter Pan at Walt Disney World?
Yeah.
That
They
queue
have
is
the whole indoor queue area.
amazing.
I really thought for sure when they closed that holiday shop, they were like, we're doing it. We're moving the Peter Pan queue. Like, that would fall in line with their like Project Stardust thing, like opening up the walkways and getting people out of the sun. No, they're just gonna.
Maybe that was intentional because I feel like if they would have just given more space to Peter Pan's queue, it still would have filled all the way up to the back.
More people would have lined up in it.
Then we would have had 2-hour waits for Peter Pan instead of...
It wouldn't have. It definitely wouldn't have made the line shorter. It might have just made it more bearable.
So, what is your favorite attraction?
I thought about this too, and my favorite attraction is actually Guardians of the Galaxy in DCA because I love all the thrill rides.
Did you like it when it was Tower of Terror?
I never got the chance to go on it when it was Tower of Terror, actually, but I did do Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World.
And that one's different. Yeah, that tower is different than what ours had been.
If you go to Paris still has our version of Tower, but in French.
Oh, nice. I actually had a friend. I had a friend tell me before I went to Disney World. I was like, so tell me, like, how is their Tower of Terror compared to Guardians of the Galaxy? And she was like, oh my gosh, their Tower of Terror is way worse. And I was like, oh my God, I wish you hadn't told me that. So I went on the Tower of Terror at Disney World, and I was like, just like literally terrified the whole time. And then I went on, I didn't even scream or anything because my expectations were way, way higher than they should have been. So I didn't even enjoy it because I was waiting for it to get worse.
So what is it about Guardians that you feel makes it your number one attraction?
Oh my gosh. It's the thrills 100%. Like, for some reason, I didn't realize this about myself, but apparently I'm a thrill seeker. So I wish every ride in Disneyland Park was like just a bit more terrifying.
See, I really enjoy Guardians. I'm really not a thrill person. Like, Disney attractions, that's like my top. I'm not gonna go any higher than what a Disney.
You're not
gonna
go to like a Six Flags and go on crazy tall
I won't
things
be. And like Universal, I do like the Hogwarts stuff. That's it. Like that's my threshold. So, but I think Guardians to me is just so fun. Yes, you get like, I laugh hysterically. I don't know why. It's like it's such a funny feeling. In the corner. Yeah, there's Tag cowering in the corner. There's like super fun whatever music you happen to get track blaring through. Sometimes you don't know if you're going up or down because it's just you're just floating. It's cool. Very cool. Have you done what's the Monsters After? Have you done Monsters After Dark?
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm.
Now how do you feel?
I don't prefer it, actually. I think having the I think it's fun, and I think it's really cool that they do like a ride sequel, like they do an After Dark overlay. I think that's super, super creative. But the music in the regular Guardians of the Galaxy is like all that, like just awesome greatest hits music, and I think that is more fun than Monsters After Dark.
It's like what? Like, I don't even know what kind of music. It's just
it's just not
it's not like light and fun.
Yeah.
No, the Monsters After Dark music's more like, I don't know, not serious,
clubby
but
music.
It's intense.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know it's not a popular opinion with a lot of people, but for me, okay, I think the ride system reprogram for Guardians is cool. Like, is probably a little bit better than Tower of Terror. But I thought that for me, I liked the hotel theme better than I liked Tavon's thing, whatever it is. And so, like, it's kind of cool. A couple times you go in and like look around and there's neat stuff, but I just liked the creepy hotel atmosphere, and it fit with the red car trolley and Buena Vista Street. Oh my
gosh,
Like, it just blended well, and now I feel like it kind of sticks out, and I think they'll fix that as they continue to expand Avengers Campus a little bit, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's get to the fun part of the conversation. Not that this wasn't fun, but let's get to the meat of it. So,
the main course.
Tell us about the surprise for your mom. How did it come off? How did she react to it? I know you sent a video for us. I don't know if if you care or she cares, if we post that in the show notes that people can watch and see her reaction.
It was amazing.
Some history about my mom is that she is the type of person who's super, super, super sentimental. And like her family didn't have a lot of money growing up. And she has actually told me that when she was a little girl, she thought Disneyland was something like the North Pole. Like, there's like a place with the castle and Mickey Mouse lives there and there's princesses. She's like, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
like,
Sure, I'm sure Santa Claus is there too.
She almost didn't believe it. And so as an adult, when she got to go, like when we were kids, she absolutely loved it, obviously. Maybe didn't get to enjoy herself as much as she wanted to because she was there for the kids. Like she wasn't there for herself. But
now it makes sense. I was trying to figure out what it was about this Disney trip that made your mom keep bringing it up, so much longer, and everybody else kind of moved past it because it was like
she is so sentimental.
That's so cool.
And I love taking her because it's people say that when you go as a parent, you get to experience a park through the eyes of a child. It's gonna make me like emotional, but I feel like when I take my mom, it's like I get to go with my mom's child.
Yeah.
Like I never met my mom when she was a child, but it's almost like taking her inner child. So
that's
sweet. She's so sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. Like all of that's just so neat because I never thought of it that way because when we were growing up, we had videos. Like I remember watching VHS tapes and they showed me that people were in this place. So, and there was all this push. Well, when she was growing up, it was brand new. Not very many people were able to experience it. People were not sharing their experiences with, videos and YouTube and all that stuff. So, I can see how you could maybe not think it's a real place and that it was just this, fantasy land. So to then be an adult and step into what you just thought was this like dream world didn't exist was probably just like,
she's so cute too. Her what really solidified this as a bucket list item for me is that my mom's favorite movie is Cars. Don't ask me why. I think she saw it in theaters 10 times. And when I saw it on, how you just are like scrolling whatever and you see a BuzzFeed article and it's like they built Cars Land, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm totally taking my mom to Cars Land. So that was like the fact that we had been before, and that I was like, Mom, did you know the Radiator Springs is real? And she cried when I just showed her a picture of it. And that was in when did it open? 2012.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So tell us about giving it to her.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So
Tag's dying with anticipation.
Well, we keep going past it. I'm like, no, back up.
So the video. So tell you about the video. So it was her actual birthday and we were going to the movies. And my mom was like, let's go. Like, we're going to the movies. Like, what's the freaking holdup? And we're like, oh, no, Mom. Like, we want you to open, presents first. And she's like, why don't we just do that? And I'm like, no, we're going to open it right now. And so I just got her a card. And it just said something about we're going to the happiest place on earth. And then I wrote in the card, it's like, we are actually going to the happiest place on earth. And then I wrote the dates. And I put the Disneyland tickets in the card. So you'll see her reaction if you look at the show notes. But she just immediate tears. That's pretty cool.
The cool thing with the video was she couldn't even speak. Everyone's like, well, what did you get? What did you get? And she's just imploding with happiness.
Yeah, like I said, even though I almost totally ruined it by showing her a picture of the tickets, she not even on her radar at all. It was
so
sweet. That was what it was surprising. I didn't want to book the I had the refundable hotel reservation and I had the tickets. And I didn't want to book the flights until she could get the days off of work. And so after she knew she could get the days off work, then I booked the flights So that was when it was like set in stone. And before we went, we kind of got into the history of Disneyland and Walt Disney. And she happened to DVR the PBS documentary about Walt Disney. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's
I wanted
parts. It's 2 parts, and I think each part is 2 hours. And so it's like a 4-hour long documentary about Walt's life, like from start to finish.
Wow.
And I think it's called American Life, like highlights. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched that before we went. And then when I just learned they talk about how many man hours it took to make Snow White and like how it's like a hand painted movie. And that just blew my mind. Like I always took animation for granted. And then watching that and then watching like how nobody thought Disneyland was going to work and just everything. And so the fact that we like researched going into it and we were able to appreciate like every little detail, I think just really like we just got slapped in the face with Disney fever. So,
well, you at least finally had somebody to share the excitement with.
Oh my gosh,
wasn't
yes,
just...
we did. We did. I think the number one thing that me and my mom would say after our trip going was the attention to detail at the park just blew us away. Like we kept saying, we're just like, oh my gosh, like they didn't have to do that. Like they didn't have to go that extra step, but they did. So yeah, it was so cool. It was so cool.
I think that's something that people that don't go to Disneyland or have been and they don't like understand everybody's fanaticism with it is I think they don't realize all of that. And James has said this a number of times that some of the things the first time he went, like dark rides and stuff, like he just didn't didn't understand like why everybody thinks these are so amazing, Tiki Room, that kind of stuff. But now that he's done trivia with us and listened to the podcast and all this other stuff, he knows all the details. And now he's like, I love going into the Tiki Room because I know how much like went into this and all of the technology.
Yeah.
Where like people just take a lot of that for granted.
They really do.
And so, the magic of Disney is kind of knowing about it.
Yeah, and I think that's what made this first trip like really a life-changing trip, was because we went in, like before we went, I mean, we had both been before, but I was 9 years old and she was just trying to like keep her kids safe in an familiar environment. So it was definitely not a trip for appreciating details. And I don't think my parents researched anything before that trip. And so like, they didn't know about FastPass. They didn't know about Fantasmic. And they didn't know about like getting there early. And so it was kind of just like it was just so cool to dive into the history of it.
So what was your mom's favorite attraction, or what was her favorite thing?
Oh, Radiator Springs Racers, I think, was obviously her favorite because, she loves cars. And, the McQueen and Sally song, the
Yep.
I have like that song, like if it ever even comes on, it makes her cry. So like that's how adorable she is.
That's so cute.
That's awesome. I can't imagine, first of all, thinking that this place was magical, didn't even really exist. And then you have your favorite movie, and they built an entire magnificent land to it.
Replica.
Yeah, and so being able to go there, and I know from experience, like Teresa gets a ton of joy at like the lighting ceremony, and she just loves Cars Land. Like I think Cars Land is fine, but like I don't know, Teresa buys into a lot more of the emotional stuff with it, and so your mom must have just been in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she totally was. We actually, when we went on our first day, like our first ever rope drop, we didn't even go to Disneyland on our first day. We went to DCA first thing. We went to Cars Land first thing. So
I think that's a good choice.
This was so funny in the movie. Like the light, the stoplight. They're like, I think every third blink is longer. My mom was there in Cars Land, and she's like, Sarah, I was filming the stoplight, and every third blink is longer. And I'm like, no, it's not, Mom. No, it's not. Like you were just like playing into it because you know that line from the movie. And then she showed me a video of it, and it literally is longer. And I'm just like, the detail here is
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So adorable.
I
So
always
cute.
comment on, in fact, our last trip there, I think I commented on this. I said, what an interesting job it would be, especially like Galaxy's Edge is a great example of this. What an interesting job it would be to work for Imagineering, and
my
you get
gosh.
to just go shop weird
Find these,
places
yeah.
around the world and like, oh yeah, if we combine this with that, it's like a Star Wars something or other, and you stick it
Yeah.
on the shelf.
Oh my gosh.
Or like
yeah.
Cars Land was finding all of those things from like Route 66 and
Yeah.
stuff to just kind of
I know.
sprinkle about the land and make it authentic. It's just so much attention. You know, you'd think like, oh, well, Disney, they could just like fabricate this stuff and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But they go and find a lot of this stuff.
So, talking about Easter eggs
Uh-oh.
and talking about going on side notes, have you seen the newest Easter egg in DCA?
Are you talking about the
Have you
newest-
seen
Yes, is it the
that-
Bugs Land?
Yes.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Ant-Man walks around
Oh
with
my
a tiny
gosh.
shrunken Bugs Land because he
Whoever came up with
wanted
that was brilliant.
so brilliant, and it moves. Not only is it like,
does.
not only does
Yeah,
it exist,
Heimlich moves around
Heimlich is
and-
moving around, Flicks Flyers is going. It is
That
the most
was- that
adorable, brilliant thing that they could have done.
I don't know who
That
came up
was
with that, but
Unbelievable.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that was so perfect.
You know how everyone says they want to be Imagineer? Want to be an Imagineer? I do not want to be an Imagineer because I know for a fact I am not that creative.
I could maybe come up with the idea, but I wouldn't know how to make it happen. Like if I could just be the person saying, so you know in the movie how the third light's longer, we should do that.
Yeah.
Like I could do that kind of thing.
Well,
I
you
could
know,
research the movie and like
there are people
spitball
like
the
that
ideas.
just that they're like the concept people.
Yeah.
And then there's other
Yeah.
people that do
That's
the
true.
technical work. So you could be the like details person of like, okay, here's
What
what we
if?
want.
I feel like
These are the
yeah.
things.
I feel like the detail stuff on my end I would just be like an armchair quarterback because after you see it and I'm like, oh yeah, great on them. I could come up with that. But if I just had a blank
Yeah.
notebook with nothing on the page, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not smart enough for this.
You know, it's like
the
those
Imagineers are amazing.
it's like
Mhm.
those things when like you go to the store, right? And you see like some stupid ass scene on TV thing and you're like, why didn't I think of this? Like it's such an obvious product
Yeah.
that somebody made millions of dollars on, but
Mhm.
never thought to do it. Like that's kind of what Imagineering is like. It's like they sometimes
Yes.
will do these things. You know, some of the effects they did with like Rise of the Resistance and stuff, you're like, oh,
my gosh.
in
I
the
know.
main like hangar bay, they used a mirror, so it looked like there was more.
They do
AT-ATs
not.
hanging
It's
out
that
of
big, okay? It is just that big.
But anyway, stuff like that. It's like
Nice.
oh,
Yeah.
or Pepper's
It
Ghost in
seems-
Haunted Mansion.
Mhm.
Yeah, the way that I think I've seen on the Imagineering story or something like that is they say they don't want you to walk away thinking, how did they do that? Because they don't want you to see that they did anything.
Mhm.
Like they just want it to be magic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like so cool.
But I'm the type of person like I will.
He has to know.
I
You
went on
would
the Harry
want to,
Potter
yeah.
ride at
Oh,
Universal, and I was like sitting on the edge, and I was like, look, because I was like, I don't know how this works, but I want an edge seat because I want to be able to like not pay attention to the ride as we're on it, so I can figure this out.
I'm surprised you didn't like send off some like safety trip thing since you were like trying to lean so far forward. Traction
Probably.
stops. You get an in-show exit there. That would
Well, an in-show exit would have been cool
would have
because
been
they'd have
able
to
to
get the
figure it
arm
out
down
then.
and. Anyway,
So this trip, I mean, was very special because you got to surprise your mom and fulfill a bucket list item, and just do some Disney bonding with her. But it kind of sparked something else that helped you become a
Yes.
different version of a Disney adult. So let's talk about
Definitely. So I went in 2017. And oh my gosh, I can't even believe we haven't even gotten to this part of the story yet. So if you know at Disneyland, it's a lot of work, like exercise wise. Like you are tired, and I was so sore after 3 days that I was just like I can't go on, but I'm here and I have to. So the part of the next time we went in 2017 and we went in 2018, and I started walking like maybe 4 months before we went in 2018. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to train for Disneyland so I'm not as sore. And so that started like a walking regimen because I didn't want to be so sore. And this is going to be the depressing part, but we went in 18 with my sister, and we did 5 days, and we got photo pass, and like all the outfits were planned. And I had gained 100 pounds after college, just like unrelated. And I hated like every picture from photo pass. And it was like, oh my gosh, it was so weird because like I liked all the photos from the year before, but something had happened where I was just like, man, I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm not liking this. And so I just started walking. So I had already started walking. And then I was like, okay, gaining 100 pounds after college is really hard. Like, that's uncomfortable for anyone. And so I was just like, okay, what can I do? And I slowly, it wasn't like a crash diet or anything. I was able to like see a doctor, and I just like started adding in some fruits and vegetables. And then I was able to see a doctor who specializes, and she was able to run some blood work and found out that I was on the verge of almost being pre-diabetic. And so she was able to like put me like give me some tips that would work for me. And I have been able to lose 90 pounds.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. So yeah. And I feel like my entire motivation for doing that is because I want to be able to go to Disney. Like, I want to be able to do that 5-day park hopper, you know, and not be tired. And this is so funny because I was just getting off the plane with my mom a month ago. And I was like, Mom, you know how I've like lost all this weight and everything? I was like, it's because of that Disney trip. Remember how it was so hot and we were so sore? And
that's so cool.
Yeah, when you want to lose weight and like make all these lifestyle changes and get healthy and things like that, you have to have like a really good reason. And I think it made me think of like fitness in a different way. It's like, oh, I want to have endurance, and I want to have endurance, and I want to be strong, and I want to be able to walk 20 miles or whatever it is. I think it's 20,000 steps, not 20 miles.
I mean, you could.
20 miles a day.
You could.
Yeah.
With how much
Especially when the trams weren't working.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sounds horrible. And it's like, I want to not be miserable when I'm enjoying my vacation.
Right.
And so it kind of just reframed fitness in my mind, where it's like, you don't have to be able to run a marathon to be fit. Like, you don't even have to be able to run at all to be fit. And so I feel like my fitness goals kind of revolve around my Disney trips being as least misery as possible.
I mean, that's a great motivator. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm always surprised in myself because when James and I went to Disney World, it was crazy hot and crazy humid, and like that will take it out of you in general. Florida, and we were there 8 days or something. We did like a day in Universal and like 7 days or something in the parks. And I don't know how, but there's something for me at a Disney park that I can get up in the morning on like not much sleep. I can walk all day long and I'm a little tired, but like I get through it and I get back to the hotel and like I'm sore or whatever. I take a shower, especially in like Florida where it's like gross all day.
Oh my God.
And then I just fall asleep and then do it all the next day. And if I was doing that amount of physical activity and I was at home, I wouldn't even get out of bed the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but there's something about Disney.
I can't do that. Like, I'm even now, even though I've lost weight and I go to the gym often and I walk and like, I mean, my average steps at the time were like 3,000 steps a day. And that was like for the year. And if you like, I think I've been able to double that. So I'm getting a lot more steps as like a cumulative total now. But how miserable I was walking on that awesome, fun trip. I was just like, I don't want to be this miserable again.
I gotta use you as a motivator because I feel the same way that you did. Like, I'll look at PhotoPass photos, especially from like our recent trips, and like I don't know what's happened to me over the last couple of years, but like I've gained some weight and like just become unhealthy and all this stuff. And sometimes I'll look at pictures and I'm like, I look terrible. I hate how I look in this picture or whatever. And like I want to do better. In fact, this is a failure of mine. I wanted to be a lot better for Teresa's wedding. I was like, oh, I want to get down to my goal weight by Teresa's wedding. I've got time.
Right.
And then like the pandemic happened, which gave me like an extra like couple years. It didn't matter. Yeah. And so then recently, this is kind of off topic in a way, but recently I had never, and I know for some people this doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was for me. For a long time, like forever, I had never been over 200 pounds. And the thing with my body is like, I hold it all in my stomach. So like, it just looks terrible. It's like the one place, like if it spreads out, like I wouldn't look
proportional.
Chunky. Yeah. Like, but I've got this thing anyway, but like 4 or 5 months ago, I was over 200 pounds and I was like, I thought like, well, at least I've never been over 200 pounds. And so I'm still am. And so like, I need to like get back off of it. In fact, James and I were talking tonight about trying to get back on. We did Weight Watchers for a while, and I dropped like 20 pounds doing Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
Then we got exchange students the first time a couple years ago, and we started eating poorly again. So I think we're going to start doing that again. And, I'm thinking, taking your advice and thinking about Disney and be like, you know what? I want to look good in those photos.
Do you just not get sore at the parks from all the walking?
My legs get a little sore, but I feel like I just power through, like whatever. I'm just going to,
I am, even though I've lost the weight and I work out, like I am still like, maybe I just need to go to a doctor for my feet and legs or something like that.
So Sarah, what I have started doing, was trying to do, and the times I was doing it, it was very helpful, is I do some yoga before bed during
do some stretches.
Doing some stretching. I think it makes a huge difference because your muscles are just you're go, and then all of a sudden you just stop for the night. And I think that's the go to then stop is kind of the problem.
My like pre-Disney training is walking. Obviously extra walking. Maybe I should add like yoga and stretching to my pre-Disney trip training.
She warned me. She goes, just so you know, like I'm going to do some of these stretches. Don't like make fun of me or whatever.
I invited him to do that.
And one of the first night I did some with her and I'm like, this feels really good. Like
you'll have to send me your your top,
I'll send you the app.
We'll have to post that in the show notes.
Yep, we'll post it in the show notes. But I just want to say, Sarah, like that's incredible. That's really cool. I mean, yay that it was Disney, but I mean, it was you that did it. And I'm glad that Disney was kind of that spark and that thing that kept it going for you because you don't just do that big of a lifestyle change overnight. That takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And then
it was like 3 years probably working on it.
That's not easy. It's hard enough for some people, myself included, to start a diet and like stick with it for, a month.
Oh my gosh.
So I have
that's
to say incredible.
I found a doctor and this is all she does. And she was so incredibly supportive. And I couldn't do it without like actual professional help. So like if you're out there and you're dieting, it is not your fault if you want to give up because you can't do this without professional like advice. So
one of my friends, she lost like 200 and something pounds. And what happened with her was she said that like you could eat a lot of things, you just have to like prepare them in like a healthy way and substitute certain things and stuff. And then she said the important thing to remember that a lot of people don't do when they're dieting is you have to allow yourself to have like a cheat, like you can still have a piece of cake, but just have a smaller piece of cake and only have it like once a week instead of like every night after dinner.
You mean I can't have 4 brownies nightly?
I mean, that's what I've done. Look at me.
The trick that my doctor taught me was she told me how blood sugar works.
Oh.
And when you have elevated blood sugar, you have more cravings. And your cells don't get the like signal that you're full. And so she's like, for Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that, like don't eat all the sugar leading up to the day and eat sugar and carbs on the day too. She's like, you need to give your cells like time to use all that sugar you just ate. And so explaining it in like a medical way was like, this is how blood sugar works. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that either. I learned something new.
Now, other than like you're walking and blood, like did you get any tips or do you do anything different at the parks? Because the parks is so hard.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I do. I try to get protein in at the parks.
Okay.
Like as far as like eating. She also says eat a good amount of protein and fat early in the morning.
There you
Then
go.
you
Bengal
won't be
barbecue
as
for
hungry.
breakfast.
yeah. Yeah. So I try to just go for like whatever has the most bang for your buck on protein. I'm not a sweets person.
Oh,
So,
yeah, then
like,
you're
I
fine.
Yeah, I know. The people who have a real sweet tooth, I'm so sorry. It is such an affliction if you're trying to like.
Well,
eat healthy and
Disney
things like
does
that.
so much with the sweets.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
they really
impossible.
go crazy with the sweets. Yeah.
Oh, I get the
am,
sweet
like,
tooth from my mom.
Yeah, I love a Dole Whip, but that's a must. But I'm like a salty, savory person. So the popcorn and the Mickey pretzel is where I'm gonna be.
That's
There you
not
go.
too bad, though. That's a lot better than, like, a bunch of ice cream and macarons and
There's an awful lot of
Brownies
butter on
and-
that popcorn. Though.
there is.
Oh, let's not pretend
It's so
that
good.
the butter is all that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Disney just needs to stop coming out with sweets because, like, a lot of and it looks so cool. Like,
It's very appealing.
like
yeah,
visually,
visually.
you're
Yeah.
like, look, it's a cute little Mickey. Nom nom
Yeah.
nom.
Well, and they're beautiful. Like their
Yeah.
desserts are just beautiful too. So maybe they just need to make them slightly more pretty. So then it's like too
How
pretty
could
to
I
one.
eat
I
it?
can't like stick my spoon
Okay,
in that and mess it up.
My big gripe with Disney right now is that in the app where you can like say you're gonna get like a chicken strip basket, your option is a whole bunch of fries or one Cuties orange,
Yeah.
and so they. And I'm
Or-
like, that is
or a bag
not
of
a
chips.
fair trade.
Yeah.
That is not a fair trade. Like, you need to give me like 5 Cuties and oranges to make up for those fries. So it's not fair.
Well,
That is true.
And what makes me so mad, and this is kind of off, but like, if you want to buy a salad is so much pricier than like a burger.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
anywhere though.
I know, but
It's
that's
like-
what I mean.
I
It's
know.
like like a salad. All you do is throw a bunch of produce together. Like you're not. There's not the whole animal. Like it seems like it should be so much easier to just and cheaper to
It's
make
so
a salad.
hard. Obviously, I'm not. You just have to live your life within,
Yeah.
what works for you. So I don't try to stress about it too much. So
So it wasn't just your health that you kind of changed because of your
Oh.
Disney trip. What was the other big impact this Disney trip
Yeah.
had on your life?
So, it became very clear to me a few months after that trip I needed more. So, this is going to sound funny, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but the Disney depression.
Oh,
So, like after a Disney trip, like before we had annual passes and things like that, if you're only going like once and you don't know the next time you're going, the Disney depression hits hard. So I was so sad after that trip that I couldn't even look at the video footage that I took for like 3 months
Oh.
after.
you're like, it's too painful
I was
of a
like,
reminder.
It's too much. It's too much. So I finally like convinced. I started planning another trip like 6 months after, and so I'm like looking. I'm trying to get my story straight here on where it actually came from. I decided somewhere along the line that Disney needed to be a big part in my life. And so I need to get my finances in order to be able to go to Disneyland as much as I want. So their years are all starting to run together, but I'm pretty sure I paid off my student loans in the 1 year after that first Disneyland trip. I did the Dave Ramsey program.
Oh yeah.
I did too.
Not sponsored. Really?
Yeah.
You did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I did the Dave. I tailored it to my own personal like lifestyle and everything. But once I downloaded like a budgeting app and I realized all the money that I was spending on stuff I really didn't need, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I saved so much money once I actually had it like out in front of me and I was writing it down every single month and like actually budgeting your whole month's worth of like bills and expenses and income and all of that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I am wasting so much money on stuff I didn't need. And so I paid off my student loans and I paid off my car. And I just got really serious with my finances and I started listening to like I love podcasts. So I started listening to a lot of like financial podcasts and like the part of the Dave Ramsey program is investing and like investing for retirement. And this is so funny, but whenever I put money in like my 401k and I'm like, that's grandma Disney money. Someday when I'm a grandma, I'm like, I'm going to have a big retirement so that I can take all the grandkids to Disneyland.
There you go.
So, yes. So it's important to think about Disney as like a lifelong, like I need to be a fit 80-year-old woman who can afford to take all the grandkids to Disneyland. So
I mean,
the Walt Disney Company loves you.
You know that you're gonna, right? You know that you love it. You know you want to keep going. So yeah, you put aside that grandma Disney money. That's
you know what?
Funny.
I'll tell you what my mom. I won't say exactly what my mom says, but I'll give you the gist, which is there are worse things in life that you could be spending money or getting enjoyment out of.
Gosh,
like
yeah.
Disney is such an innocent thing. Like you're gonna go have fun, you're gonna enjoy yourself. A lot of people get joy out of it. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Well,
like,
and you get to experience it with others too.
Yeah.
Like you said, you and your mom got to take that trip. You've gotten to take your boyfriend. You've gone with siblings. You know, it's not. Yeah. It's more than just your own personal enjoyment.
Yeah.
You get to share that with others too. Plus, I mean, look at DL Weekly. This started with just us two Disney nerds talking in my dining room, thinking, well, maybe somebody will listen. And now we have this just amazing community of like-minded people. And like, you know, we have this whole separate like group that exists. And this brought all these people together that, you know, otherwise
Disney changed your guys' life too. Did you ever imagine you'd be podcasters?
It didn't. No, in fact, I'm sure I've said this many times that when Tag approached me with this, I was like, I mean, sure, I don't think anyone's going to listen, but sure, we can make a podcast.
I wish I could take a snapshot of what everything is now and go back to that person and be like, look, Teresa, in 2022, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because she thought we were nuts. And to be honest, I'll tell you, there's just so many, the community is so important. There are people that we've met through this that even if we were to stop tomorrow, we would still have these relationships with people, which is amazing. And then not only that, but then also just, you know, we don't talk about it that often because people don't like to talk about it, but like our Patreon support, like the first time we passed $100, I was like, if we could just keep at this level, it'll be wonderful.
Do you remember our first $10 supporter?
Well, you always tell this. She thinks that they hit the wrong button.
I thought they hit the wrong button.
Too many zeros or something. I'm like, you don't type it in, Teresa.
Like,
you click the button.
Can I reach out to this person?
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
That's so funny.
But
you guys deserve everything from the Patreon because this is a lot of work and your guys' stuff is edited so well. I mean, you guys put a lot of work into it. So.
Yeah.
There's
all Tag.
You know, well, you put a lot of. Teresa puts a lot of work into other things.
But the editing is
the editing is me.
Important.
But Teresa does. You know, Teresa's like 99% of every person we've ever had on the podcast is Teresa. Teresa's really great at getting the perks.
I'm the researcher.
She
the researcher.
Her hand is gonna have carpal tunnel in a couple years because she insists on handwriting like the thank you notes to all the Patrons every month. I told her like 6 months, a year ago, I said, we should just print them and sign them. And her and producer Vern were like, no. And I'm like, that's fine if you want to, because sometimes we have a lot and Teresa's sitting there handwriting stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm glad.
I always hang them on my fridge when I get them.
People love them. I get it. I'm glad that we do things that people really enjoy. But
I think it's more meaningful.
It is more meaningful. When you two were talking earlier about videos that you watched, it dawned on, and I know somebody's made this point before, but like it just, like I had the light bulb moment for myself that The reason that Disney parks, I think, are so popular right now, and they weren't before, is because there's so much on YouTube and stuff that people can go see, and they're like, oh, there's all this cool stuff. We want to be in that too. Where I don't think if we had the internet, Disneyland would probably still be successful, but wouldn't be this crazed situation there right now.
That's true.
And you know what Disney needs to do to fix that? They should build another park in America and spread the people out. Midwest, I'm telling you. Midwest needs a Disney park.
Oh gosh,
it'd have to be an indoor Disney park.
Go listen to the episode that's coming up and this last episode of the Hub Crawl, and we talk about it. And I go on this crazy thing about that Disney needs to make another theme park in the Midwest, and Disney parks print money. There is no reason that the Disney company should not be spending tons of money on theme park related expenses all the time, because even when the economy gets crappy, the parks still make money. They never lose money. They just don't make as much money.
Yeah. They also take forever to build. Like, oh my gosh.
They used to be a lot faster.
Yeah, why are they so slow? Like, poor Disney World, like Tron, and I think they've had their Disney World Railroad.
Oh, yeah, that's been closed forever.
Gosh. 5 years? Is it?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think they said they were testing it recently, so I think it's coming back soon.
There's hope.
But yeah, I went on a rant all about this last night about how Disney, like every 10 years, there's a financial problem, right? There was like 9/11, there was the housing crisis, there was COVID. And they wait like 8 years of making tons of money to finally be like, yeah, we should spend something. And then the next thing happens and they cancel a bunch of stuff. So it's like, right when the economy gets good, like now, build stuff. And then 8 years from now, when the next thing comes along, it's built, and then you can save. Anyway.
Yeah. I
think I would take that part about the economy being good right now. I think I would take that one. To step that one.
It is good, though. Disney company's making a ton of money right now.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say the economy is good. You could say Disney has money.
The economy is just weird right now. Yeah. I don't know if
businesses
it's good or bad.
Are making a ton of money. The people part of the economy.
That's why I'm saying
good.
I wouldn't say the economy overall is doing well.
Well, I think our whole idea of the economy is all screwed up anyway, because the stock market's still doing great and whatever. It's just the workers.
Back to podcasty stuff.
Becoming a Disney adult inadvertently changed my life. I got my fitness together so that I could really go hard on those park hopping days, rope drop to close. I got my finances together so that I can save money and go to Disneyland. And when I do go, I go on the cheap. Like, it's like, we're talking like Quality Inn and like other things like that. It's not.
It's just a bed.
Yeah, that's literally all you need. If they let me throw a cot out on Harbor Boulevard on the sidewalk, I'd do that. But they don't let you do. Yeah, so you can go to Disneyland and make it affordable if you just do the research. Yeah, and I have gone with, like I said in my which way do you go? I've gone with a bunch of different people, and I do have to add this in to the podcast, is that when me and my mom, we loved it. I was able to get one of my sisters on board, and then my other sister found us all three incredibly annoying.
She said,
so
nope.
She's like, you guys are way too much. So if you want to spread the love, like when we go, we're all like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if so-and-so was here? Like, I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers. I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if our brother was here? Wouldn't it be fun if the youngest was here? And then you can't, if you want someone else to share your love of Disney, you can't go full on with them. Like, they have to come to it themselves. So I don't know if that's
hard,
important
though,
to anyone out there or not. But we learned that the hard way a little bit, that you're going to turn people off if you can't stop talking about how amazing it is. So that was my youngest sister. She was in high school at the time, and now she's in college. She thought we were so annoying, but she actually had a really funny turn of events. One of her sorority sisters loves Disneyland. So she finally came around, and she was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I met someone who's my age who loves Disneyland. And so,
There's hope for her yet. No, I'm just kidding.
She finally went with us. She finally went with us this last year. And I have another sister who just moved to LA, and she's an hour from Disneyland.
There you
And
go.
she's not totally like signed up yet. You know, she's gone once and she really enjoyed it, but she hasn't like dove in yet. And she's bringing her husband for the first time, actually for Star Wars night. And
nice,
very fun.
Yeah. And so one of my sisters, they're doing like a double date for Star Wars night. So two sisters and their boyfriend/husband.
Oh, that'll be cool.
They're going to Star Wars night, and so we're hoping to scheme and scam to get them to buy annual passes because they're going to be.
They got to the last day of the ticket to take that and turn it into an annual pass.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but me and my sister, the one who does love Disneyland, Teresa. Teresa. Thank you.
Good name. Good name.
Yes, I know, right? Her and I are talking about like she's committed to like go and add an extra day to the trip. Like she's on board, and I haven't brought up the annual pass thing yet. And so we're always scheming to like, oh, do you think she's gonna like it, or she's gonna like this? So
you got to do it from a budget standpoint too, because if you get the annual pass, you save so much money on discounts on food and merchandise.
If you're going enough.
Yeah.
Honestly, my Teresa, my sister's boyfriend, he isn't even that much of a Disneyland fan, but he might get the annual pass because they're going for Star Wars night and like a 3-day trip. And then they're going for her 25th birthday in September. And when you look at the cost, if you're going to go twice, it is better to get the Enchant pass. So
Yep.
He might end up getting one, even though he's not even that crazy about it.
But if he has it, he might use it some more times, and then
I'm sure they would.
Slippery slope.
So speaking of like wrapping this up, so I became an annual pass holder in 2019. I paid off my student loans in 2018. My mom became an annual pass holder in 2021, and so did my sister. And so if you look back at where I was, you know, before I thought this could even be imaginable, I have gone in a 12-month period. This is going to sound insane, but I've gone 5 times in a 12-month period. So like when they opened last year, I've gone 5 times.
You're making up for the year it was closed.
Yes, that's all I say is that we all had a bunch of PTO saved up and everybody wanted to go. So that's the only reason. I don't plan on going 5 times a year. Every year. I probably twice.
So if you today could go back and tell you of a few years ago where you'd be now, you probably wouldn't believe yourself.
I know. It'd be unbelievable. It would just be like, did you know that in the year 2021, you will be, actually it was 2019, you will become an annual pass holder to Disneyland and your mom will too. It was so cute when my mom got her annual pass. It was so cool. So
I remember when Teresa got hers, we had to take a picture because she turned around from the booth and she had the card.
Yes,
and we took a picture.
I did that too. I think me and Teresa are on a similar path for the annual passes because I got the Flex Pass like in whenever it came out, 2019.
Yep.
I got the Flex Pass when it came out in 2019, and I was the only one out of my family who was brave enough to do it because Teresa, you got it and you didn't tag for a little while.
I didn't because that year we had exchange students, and so I didn't think we would use it. And then 2020 rolled around, and we had this other trip planned, and so we said, you know what, I'm going to upgrade when we go in April, and then March everything shut down.
Yeah, so you didn't get to be a legacy pass holder.
No, but that's okay. I'm just glad that I'm a key holder right now, and I was a pass holder a while, back in the early 2000s. Yeah, when the premium deluxe pass, like the thing that like got you, there was no blackouts, free
tier.
parking, everything was
$5.
It was 200. The very first year, I think it was like $199, and then it was $229, and then it started going up from there. And I think the last time I bought it was, I think it was like $3 something. But then I moved to the Midwest, and then I didn't go for years.
No.
And then I went again in like 2012, I think it was, or 2013, and then I didn't go again until we went to Disney World in 15. Oh, we went for a wedding, our wedding honeymoon, and then 2019. But now we get to go more often, and then we think it's so weird because it's. I want to. I don't say it. But I always have to be the brakes. But Teresa, every time we get back, she's like, I want to go again. Can we plan the next trip? And I'm just like, I don't know. And what I don't understand is I run my own business. I can take off whatever I want. Yeah. She has a job. She has to request time off. Somehow it's never a problem for her. I'm always the one that has the problem.
Yep. Well, but that's your personal life, not your business necessarily.
No, my business hasn't gotten in the way yet.
But yeah, I've gotten to the point now that I have at least probably the next trip, if not the next, probably usually the next 2 trips. This last time when we came back from the wedding, we only had the one on the books. I was getting a little itchy.
I know. You were getting itchy.
Like
when you wanted to go for Christmas, which we did go, but you were itchy after Halloween before the wedding. You're like, I need to get another trip in. So I'm worried that I've turned Teresa into a Disneyland addict.
A gremlin.
That she needs her fix, man.
Yeah,
like
I have one. So in 2021, 2022, I went in July, September, November, March, and then it will be June.
Have you not done Halloween time yet?
Times. I have.
Okay,
I have
good.
Before. I've never been to Oogie Boogie Bash, but I really want to.
The Villain's Grove is amazing.
All of Oogie Boogie Bash.
Well, yeah.
The treat trail.
I love the Villain's Grove though the most. But yeah, we went in May? April? We went the beginning of April, didn't we? Or March? The end of March.
About?
This last
wedding?
year. No. For Touch of Disney, we went in March.
Yeah.
And then we went in July, and then we went in September, and then we went in December, and then we went in March.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
We've budgeted with the podcast. I
don't see the problem here.
We've budgeted that with all of our expenses and everything, we could probably go 4 times
trips,
a year.
Yep.
Except for this last time when Teresa bought plane tickets and was like, plane tickets are outrageous right now.
God. For my trip in June, I booked on one of those like low cost airlines, like Allegiant. Mm-hmm. I've never flown one of those low cost airlines before, but like they were like like mainstream airlines were like double the price of what they normally are, and I was like, oh. And I use like all the loyalty programs to help with cost and perks and things like that. So like Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, and then with like the hotels, Marriott, Holiday Inn, get all of the perks and all of the rewards so that I can hopefully get a massive discount on flights or a massive discount on hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa got sucked in, and we have there's a local carrier out of Minneapolis called Sun Country, and Teresa got
it'd be like Alaska.
Yeah, Teresa got sucked in and got their credit card because bags are half price and seat upgrades are half price, and we made the mistake of getting a seat upgrade on one of the things, and now I don't think we could ever go back.
We can't go back
because there was like leg room, and it was great.
It's one of those like budget airlines where you pay for everything. So if you want an assigned seat, you're paying for your assigned seat. Yeah. You pay for your carry-on, you pay for your bag underneath, but your bag underneath and the carry-on's the same price. But They don't have first class. They just have like the whatever, kind of like Delta, like the Comfort Plus kind of thing. And so the Comfort Plus version, it's $20 to reserve one of those seats. And I'm like, worth it. It's worth it.
Wow. So bougie. You're so fancy.
The only thing that I wish they would do, and this would, in fact, our little planes that go out of La Crosse, if we had a little plane like that would go all the way to California would be wonderful, because I really want a window seat, but I lose out every time to Teresa.
Yeah.
But the little puddle jumpers that go from here to Minneapolis
have
a single row. If we had that, Teresa could have a window, and I could, because she doesn't want to be next to anybody.
No, I don't. I try to pretend there's nobody else on the plane with me.
You're so funny.
I like to look out the window.
I'm super lucky that I have four airports within 2-hour drive of me. So there's like Tri-Cities, Spokane, Walla Walla, Pullman, and Lewiston.
Oh, wow.
So like we can like really price check.
Yeah, no kidding.
And it's like, oh, okay, it looks like we're going to Tri-Cities.
We have a bunch of tiny ones. We've got La Crosse.
Yeah.
We've got Madison, which we've never flown out of. We have Rochester about 45 minutes away, and James and I flew out of there, I think, once. And then there's Minneapolis, and usually Minneapolis is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Because out from La Crosse to Minneapolis and then Minneapolis to California, it always adds it doubles the price. And it's like, well, I guess we're driving 2 hours and paying for the parking. And And then when we come back, we have to drive 2 hours home. And anyway. All right. So if you could work at Disneyland, what would you do? Sky's the limit. Could be any job, made up, real, whatever. What would you like to do?
I have thought about this one, and even though I have absolutely no experience in like technology and apps and things, let's pretend that I did. I would want to work on the Disneyland app because I am totally fascinated with like the wait times and Genie Plus and mobile order. And I just think it is so organized, and I love it, but I just want to make it better. And I also really, really want to know how they do those wait times. Like they're so accurate. Like they're like shockingly accurate. And I would just love to see all the data that they have, because the data behind the scenes of that app would be just so cool to see. I'm dying to see it.
I'd be curious to see.
I don't know why.
With mobile order, how do they figure out the your arrival window stuff and
Yeah.
My guess is they do it like they do the fast pass. My guess is for a location, they know how many things they can get out in a certain time frame, and then they say, okay, it's 1 o'clock,
but see,
and we've had 10 mobile orders, so now it's like 1:20.
I want to know how many mobile orders per slot Bengal Barbecue's doing, or that kind of weird stuff, because it is interesting to me because sometimes. When you're in the app, you'll be, starting your order and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, that window's not available. Will you do you will have to bump you to a later window. I'm like, oh yeah, fine. And then it's only 5 minutes. I'm like, why is that?
That is the thing. I want to know all of their secret numbers and stats. I want to know how many enchant key reservations are available on this day. And I want to know all of their secret numbers. I want to know how many lightning lanes are allowed for Genie Plus in an hour. And I've heard rumors that they will push people around the park. So Space Mountain is 20 minutes because we want people to move to that side of the park. But when you get there, it's 40 minutes or 60 minutes. I want to know if that's true or not. And so I would just want to know all the crowd control secrets and all of those things. I just feel like I'm fascinated.
I want to know the buckets, man, because we've all speculated about the buckets.
So
for the reservation system.
Yeah. That's such a tight, you can't crack that one. That one's such a weird, its own little thing. It would be really interesting.
Honestly, Ken Potrock seems like a cool
He
guy.
seems very cool. I want to meet him.
Ken, you can get Ken off to the side. Ken and be like, here's the deal. We've got four. Don't tell anybody I said this, but we got 4 buckets, and we only put 3 reservations in each bucket.
3 reservations.
People think it's thousands, but it's 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes late at night, I log into the portal and I just move the slider around and freak people out.
I mean, they could, because it's working to their advantage.
Yeah.
Because it's creating even more FOMO than what YouTube and social media has created with Disneyland. Because people just grab reservations to grab them.
Yeah.
You can put me on record. I am in support of the reservation system for pass holders, and I will summarize it in one sentence. I think they were allowed to get used to something that they shouldn't have gotten used to. So I think I saw a tweet or something like this on Twitter that was Southern Californians were treating going to Disneyland like going to the mall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it really is something special, and you need to it's most iconic theme park in the world.
Yeah.
If you think about it. And I think it should be treated like something special, not I mean, like, you can argue, but I think there's going to be a new era with like the reservation system, and in 10 years it's going to look different. Hopefully everybody's happy with what it looks like, or even in 5 years.
The thing that's interesting to me, though, is, right, so Disneyland has annual pass holders and Disney World has annual pass holders, but Disney World never had the annual pass holder problem like Disneyland had. So it's like, it's just fascinating, because you're never going to be able to figure out why it happened here and not there, and it just is how it is. But I just think it's interesting.
Two
really
things that they
interesting.
need to fix. One, I don't know what the answer is. They need to find a way to discourage pass holders from reserving a day just in case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Same thing with dining reservations.
And same thing with dining. Like they I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure there's smart people that could figure it out. The other thing is, I feel like non-annual pass stuff, when you buy a ticket, you have to say what day you're going to be there. I think that they should just have, if you're going to buy a day ticket or a 5-day ticket or whatever, you put in the day you want to go, and like that also gets you the reservation. And you can't buy a ticket if there's not a reservation for that day, because too many people don't realize when they buy their ticket that they have to then get a reservation. Yeah. And so we saw somebody when it started, like outside the ticket booth, they're like, they told us we're out of luck. Like, we got here today from out of town and we can't get in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would probably cry if I worked front gate or ticket or worked at the turnstiles.
It'd be awful.
Because even just like in the Facebook groups that I'm in, people are like, we like booked flights and everything for spring break trip, and we didn't realize there were reservations. And I'm sure it happens a lot.
The other
which is
issue
really sad
is, and again, it's created because of the internet, is the expectation of Disney magic. So I also wonder how many people knowingly don't have a reservation, and they're like, oh, it's Disney, they've got excellent customer service. You know what I mean? Like,
not this.
No, I know, because they can't, because there's too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm really sad, because I think Disney magic is kind of going to become a thing of the past, because they just can't do it anymore, because there's an expectation for it, which really breaks my heart.
I've heard about that, actually, and it is sad, because when you expect it, then it's just being entitled. It's not even magic anymore.
Well, Sarah, it has been wonderful talking to you this evening and hearing this lovely story about your mom. I'm so glad that she's a pass holder or a magic key holder now.
I'm still just like amazed that this one trip changed your life and changed your family's life so much. Like,
it's so funny.
It makes total sense, though, like how that trip impacted your health and your finances
as it was
going
happening.
forward.
Yeah, as it was happening, I didn't realize the change that it was having.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I realized this about a month ago when I was getting off a plane from a trip, and I was like, Mom, like, I just lost weight and like paid off my student loans so that I could just keep going to Disney more. And she's like, that's so funny, Sarah. And then I tweeted it on Twitter like a couple days after we got back, and I don't know if it went crazy viral, but it got like more likes and retweets than I've gotten in a while.
It's because it's interesting and it's neat, and I think people can, especially like Disney fans, like, yes, we get it just from the love of the park standpoint, but then we also get it like, oh yeah, I mean, I never thought about how much crazy walking you do and how that could then translate over into your quote unquote normal life. And same thing with, well, if you're budgeting for your trip, why not expand that to your life? It makes total sense when you put it out there, but I didn't really think of the two things connecting until you said that it did for you. And I was like, wow, that's like secretively brilliant. Like,
I know. Yes.
Like, just kind of happened out of nowhere.
It's good to have, it just shows you how important goals are in life. It's important to have things that are meaningful to you that improve your life in so many ways. And
Yes.
make you realize it just makes you realize what's truly important in life. That's really what it boils down to.
It's okay. I'll be the only weekly tier without an answer. Make sure you send your questions to Producer James or Producer Vern at trivia@DLWeekly.net.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we're going to find out the answers to those questions. How do you think you did today?
I don't feel too bad.
I'm feeling pretty all right with this.
Yeah, you feeling okay? All right.
I mean, I'm sure you're going to crush our hopes and dreams, but, you know.
No, I feel pretty good about how you did, too. So
Oh, great.
Let's find out how you did. All right, your first question from listener Donna S. What is the maximum capacity of passengers on the horse-drawn streetcar? Tag said 27, and Teresa reluctantly
Wavered.
said 30. The correct answer that I wanted was 30.
I thought he was going to say 25.
I just want to say there was
a give
collusion.
me.
There was a collusion.
Yeah, that was a give me. So he probably got annoyed because I'm like, can I do a range? Can I do this? Just stick with your other answer.
Well, when you said
Or
the right
broccoli,
answer
hit
and
him
you
on the
talked
head.
yourself into the wrong one, I'm like, no, the right one.
Gotcha.
Look, there's a bonus in this.
Oh, my goodness.
Your second question from listener Jessica G. All behind areas signs read cast members only, except for 2 signs in the park that read employees only. Where are they? You said the cinema, Mark Twain, and Roger Rabbit as potential places where you could find these signs. What I was looking for was Main Street on the side of the Mad Hatter store
Oh,
and Adventureland behind the Red Dragon and Company sign.
wow, we failed.
Oh, wow.
Miserably failed on that one.
Don't think of it as miserable failure.
We have to find
Think of
these
it
now when we
as
go.
learning experience.
Yeah. Is there?
I feel like I need to pay more attention in the Roger Rabbit queue because I really thought that there was.
Well, you gotta wait like a year.
Because there's one oh yeah, I do, don't I? There's one door that looks like a fake door, but it's a real door. That was
Yeah.
the one I was thinking of. I didn't remember what it said, but
Well, and
now I'm wondering.
do you know why those 2 doors are different than the other doors?
We'd have to reach out to Jessica G. and
Okay, I
ask.
was just curious.
Jessica G, we would love to know if you know why those 2 are different.
Yeah.
Because it would have made a ton of sense to me if it was like thematic.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about. But neither of those sound like thematically it makes any more sense for them to say employees only than it does cast members.
Right.
Super curious.
Question number 3 from listener Sarah P. The Grand Californian Hotel is modeled after a specific style design of the 20th century to give the appeal of Western National Park lodges. What is the name for this style of design? Your answer was arts and crafts style. The correct answer that I was looking for was arts and crafts style.
Oh, good job, Tag.
Thank you. Thank the monorail spiel.
Monorail. Well, thank you, Monorail.
And your fourth and final question of the night from listener Andy M. How many living things are depicted in the Haunted Mansion stretching room portraits? Bonus if you can tell me what they are. You answered with 7. 6 humans and 1 alligator. The correct answer that I was looking for was 7. 6 humans and 1 alligator.
Woo!
Well done, you.
And the bonus? How did we do on bonus?
You did excellently, perfectly describing all of them in fine detail.
You know what? I have to say, Teresa, that I probably would have forgotten the alligator. So it was team effort, I think.
Well, that deserves a team high five.
That was
The most
sad.
awkward high five ever. Teresa looked over like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Aw.
Well done. I'm proud
Dang
of
it.
you.
There is a flower.
But it was dead because she picked it.
Yep, but it's dead because she picked it. I had to look.
Well, listeners, how do you feel about how they did? How did you do listening at home? Do you think you've got some great trivia that's going to really stump them next week? If you'd like to submit some trivia of your own, feel free to do so at trivia@dlweekly.net.
We'll be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.